Thanks for tuning in to another Kings and Priests Biblical Agreements and Discord. And once again, my name is Ted King.
And I'm Hygie McGrave, King New Shoes Peanut Lewis King, and I'm happy to be here.
All
So
right, so we want to thank you. Let me say one more thing, sir, and then I'll let you go ahead with your praying us in. I want to thank you again for tuning in to another King and Priest Biblical Agreements and Discord, and also we want to thank all our sponsors that had my name, as well as our affiliate networks, YouTube, you see us on YouTube, Facebook, um, as well as Twitch and other programs. All right, sir, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to start us off in prayer. This is Matthew 6:9. And it's like this is just after this, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Praise Jesus. Praise God. Now, excuse me. We left off in Acts 21:40, and I was going to start in on reading Acts 22:1. And this is when Paul is giving his testimony to the people after they had let him out of the little castle, the castle that he was in, as far as them holding him against his want to be held. And this is 22:1. It says, men, brethren, and fathers, hear ye my defense, which I make now unto you. 2. And when they heard that he spake in the Hebrew tongue to them, they kept the more silent. And he saith, 3. I am verily a man which am a Jew, born in Tarsus, a city in Cilicia, yet brought up in the city at the feet of Gamaliel, and taught according to the perfect manner of the law of the fathers, and was zealous towards God, as ye all are this day. 4. And I persecuted this way until the death, binding and delivering into prison both men and women. 5. As also the high priest doeth bear me witness, and all the estate of the elders, from whom also I received letters unto the brethren, and went to Damascus to bring of them which were there bound unto Jerusalem, for to be punished. 6. And it came to pass that as I made my journey, and was come nigh unto Damascus, about noon, suddenly there shone from heaven a great light around about me. 7. And I fell onto the ground, and heard a voice saying unto me, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? 8. And I answered, who art thou, Lord? And he said unto me, I am Jesus of Nazareth, whom thou persecutest. 9. And they that were with me saw indeed the light, and were afraid, but they heard not the voice of him that spake to me. 10. And I said, what should I do, Lord? And the Lord said unto me, arise and go into Damascus, and there it shall be told thee of all things which are appointed for thee to do. 11. And when I could not see for the glory of that light, being led by the hand to them that were with me, I came into Damascus. 12.
Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. We're going to add our guest, Miss Nicole Bowden, to the show. How you doing, Nicole?
Hi, Nicole. How are you?
Can you hear us?
Okay. Thanks for having me. Can you see me?
I can. We
Yeah.
can see you and we can hear you. You know. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead with the reading,
Okay,
and
okay, okay,
yeah, we're
okay.
gonna be done with the reading in just a minute, and we're gonna get into the topic of why do men and women don't like each other. So that's what we're
Okay.
gonna
So
get.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
so
go
we're
ahead.
That sounds like
I'm gonna go ahead and
perfect.
gonna.
okay. I'm gonna go ahead and start reading at Acts 22:12. And one Ananias, a devout man according to the law, having a good report of all the Jews which dwelt there, 13, came unto me and stood and said unto me, Brother Saul, receive thy sight. And the same hour I looked up upon him. 14. And he said, the God of our fathers has chosen thee, that thou shouldest know his will, and see that just one, and shouldest hear the voice of his mouth. 15. Where thou shalt be his witness unto all men of what thou hast seen and heard. 16. And now, why tarriest thou? Arise and be baptized, and wash away thy sins, calling on the name of the Lord. 17. And it came to pass that when I was come again to Jerusalem, when even while I prayed in the temple, I was in a trance. 18. And saw him saying unto me, make haste and get thee quickly out of Jerusalem, for thou wilt not receive thy testimony concerning me. 19. And I said, Lord, they know that I imprisoned and beat in every synagogue them that believeth on thee. 20. And when the blood of thy
Martyr, martyr.
martyr Stephen was shed, I also was standing by and consenting unto his death, and kept the raiment of them that slew him. 21. And he said unto me, depart, for I will send thee far hence unto the Gentiles. 22. And they gave him audience unto the word, and then lifted up their voices and said, away with such a fellow from the earth, for it is not fit that he should live. 23. And as they cried out and cast off their clothes and threw dust into the air. 24. The chief captain commanded him to be brought into the castle and bade that he should be examined by scourging, that he might know wherefore they cried so against him. 25. And as they bound him with thongs, Paul said unto the centurion that stood by, is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and condemned and uncondemned? 26. When the centurion heard that, he went and told the chief captain, saying that heed what thou doest, for this man is a Roman. 27. Then the chief captain came and said unto him, tell me, art thou a Roman? He said, yeah. 28. And the chief captain answered, with a great sum obtained I this freedom. And Paul said, but I was free born. 29. Then straightway they departed from him, which should have examined him. And the chief captain also was afraid, after he knew that he was a Roman, and because he had bound him. 30. On the morrow, because he would have known the certainty wherefore he was accused of the Jews, he loosed him from his bands and commanded the chief priests and all their council to appear and brought Paul down and set him before them. That's the reading of Acts 22, 1
Okay.
through 30.
Okay, perfect. So now let's go over this real quick before we get into our topic for today, which is a further topic, because last week we had some dialogue from some of our watchers that commented about did Jesus and Mary Magdalene have a relationship. But we're going to talk about that in a moment. But first, we're going to go ahead and let me explain this to the audience real quick, because it's some things that's in the reading that maybe people didn't understand. For example, it says here in where we at? Scourge, the word scourge, which means to be beat or flogged. So they wanted to flog and beat Paul, but Paul said that he was a Roman. That they said, okay, so he is a Roman, and therefore, and he said that he was born a Roman, by the way, and so that meant that he was a free man. So therefore, he could not be flogged or scourged like they wanted to do to him, and so of course they let him go. So then it says in 30, it says, on the morrow, because he would have known the certainty, wherefore he was accused of the Jews, he loosed him from the bonds and commanded the chief priests and all their council to appear and brought Paul and set him before them. And that's where it ends. But basically, they're going to let him go because he's saying, hey, look, I am a Roman, I'm a free man, basically what he's saying. So that's what the account is in 22. So, if those who are keeping up with the Acts, are reading in Acts, that's where we're at in Acts. And back to what I was saying regarding certain people who commented about Jesus and Mary Magdalene. You see some depiction in the go ahead.
Okay, I'm just saying, just adding on to here. Okay, scourging is like to beat somebody. Isn't that what you're saying? Yeah. So just like
Yeah, it's a punishment.
Yeah, it's a scourging is to beat somebody. So just like a lot of things that have to do with Paul, Saul, or whatever. See, it's a lot of tribulation going on through there with him and the ones that he was surrounding himself with, because they were taking the word to the Gentiles, and also Paul was somebody who had punished the believers in Jesus all his life. So with those two parallels going at the same time, you see what I'm saying? There would be a lot of hostility surrounding Paul or Saul in a lot of situations that he was in. It was a very, shall I say, hostile environment, basically, to put it mildly.
Right.
That's all I wanted to say.
Absolutely. No doubt, no question about that. And it is all right, go ahead, Nicole.
Well, it was a question. So
Nicole?
you're saying that Paul was the people that condemned Jesus?
No. See, Paul is two parallels going on here. Paul.
Okay, hold on a second. Maybe you didn't understand what she just asked. So repeat what you just asked, so he could understand it a little bit better.
I thought he said that Paul was one of the people who condemned Jesus. I'm asking,
right. So she's
confirming
that. Yeah. And the question that's the question she's asking. It was Paul, one of the persons who, in fact, were persecuting Jesus Christ, and that answer would be. Go ahead and answer that question.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So let me ask another question. So, because you got two pictures up there, one of those pictures is like Jesus, right?
Correct. So yeah, that's that. We got the two pictures up there means basically, because in the beginning of the program, we're talking about Acts 22 And that's what we're talking about in Acts. But we're going to go into, for example, last week there was some conversation about Jesus and Mary Magdalene. So that's what these two pictures are depicting: Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And of course, like for
Okay,
example,
so
the
that's
next
Jesus.
is an,
Okay.
yeah, right. Yeah, right. So there will be this the Last Supper, and in the pictures of the Last Supper, there's always a person in the picture that looks like a female. In this particular picture, it looks like the female could be the person second from Jesus's left, right, wearing the white band and the orangish colored uh, garment, right? So,
Okay.
and you see some other ones that even look even more so like, for example, a female. We don't have that picture, but we'll try to get a picture of another likeness where she looks. You can tell it definitely is a woman in a different type of picture. But we were just basically talking. We're going over Acts, of course, 22, because we're going through the book of Acts, and then we're going to go on the subject in the subject about, for example, um, King New Shoes Peanut. His from his perspective, and correct me if I'm wrong, King New Shoes Peanut. From his perspective, that the matriarchs would or should be in a position to like be leaders of the world. Correct me if I'm wrong, sir. If give
That's
me
what I'd like.
time.
That's what I like. I mean, exactly. That's exactly what I'd like to see come in. Then,
Okay.
then Nicole could be the president, and I'd be saying, "Excuse me, Madam President. You know what I'm saying? How are you today? I'm hoping everything in this message is real delightful, and that you're really, you know what I'm saying, enjoying the Bible study. You know what I'm saying? Instead of having to say,
All right, before we get to that, I like that. Before
huh?
we get to that though, because I'm still kind of stuck on the Jesus and Paul thing. So I wanted to ask, because this is something I was wondering recently, because all these pictures of Jesus, he's black, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, you'll see some pictures of Jesus on this program. You'll see pictures of Jesus as being black. Okay, because Jesus,
Okay,
according to the Bible,
okay, I
is
like
black.
that.
According to the
Okay,
Bible, yeah, Jesus is black.
that's where I was going with this. So my question is Paul and the people who prosecuted Jesus, are they black too?
That's a good question, Nicole. Yes, because last week we were reading out of 21, and I believe it's 21 and 46. I believe it is. Let me check. But
Uh,
I think
it's in 21 somewhere where they is mistaken him for an Egyptian.
you're right.
I
So
think he was.
they looked at Paul. They identified Paul or tried to identify Paul as an Egyptian who had caused some type of chaos, causing some death. And so, with that scripture, it gives indication that Paul looked like an Egyptian. So, he had to be a person of color, even though he was born in Tyrus, I believe it said. The book says Tyrus. I mean, I could be wrong, but correct. I'll fact check that in a moment. But the point is that he was not. He was born in uh, in Turkey, I believe, and that of course makes him born around Gentiles because that's basically who the Gentiles. And people get mistaken as to who the Gentiles are. They think that the Gentiles look like you and I. So they don't look like you and I. The Gentiles look like the president of the United States right now. Okay, that's what a Gentile looks like. And the Gentile does not look like.
Okay, so Gentiles are white.
I couldn't quite hear you, but what did you say?
The Gentiles are white,
Yes, exactly. The
is
Gentiles
what
are.
you're
Yes, exactly right. The Gentiles are white. Right.
so there's the Jews and there's the Gentiles, is what you're saying. That's the opposite. Jews and
Right.
Gentiles.
Okay. So let me give you an example. Right now, if you look at the news, you'll see some people talking about in Israel, in Israel. Okay, Israelis. Okay, they'll say they use the word Israelis, and they'll look at those people that's like yet not Bibi Netanyahu or whatever you call it. I may pronounce it wrong. Bibi Netanyahu. Anyway, so that individual, he looks like a white person. That's because he comes
Yes.
from. That's because he is a white person. because they would call him an Ashkenazi Jew, his person, an Ashkenazi Jewish person. In other words, he's not one of the original Jewish people, and that's why people get so confused because when they see Jewish people and refer to Jesus as a Jew, they think, oh, they look like the Jewish people over there now, but those are not the true Jews. Those are called Ashkenazi Jews who came in and replaced the original Jewish people that were looking like his picture of Jesus over here, which was black. They're black. The original Jewish people or the original Israelites look just like this picture that you're looking at right now. And a lot of people know about this. It's no, theologians know about this. Like for example, if you talk to Farrakhan, he would tell you, oh yeah, Jesus is black. As a matter of fact, you can actually go to YouTube channel and see where Farrakhan says, oh yeah, Jesus is black, and talks about it all the time. See, and so these are the things that we don't quite understand, that we think, okay, we're just the lowest of the low. That's not true. We are actually people who are the chosen ones of God, look like you and I. Okay. And that's what people don't quite understand. If they understood that, they would have a different concept and perspective of who and what we are and who and what and what we're supposed to do. You see, and so that is the reason why we're doing these studies, and of course I do the best I can to give the explanation as to what is going on here, and I hope that I answered your question.
You did.
Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now when we start talking about, like, for example, Jesus, we look at a person like that. That's, basically what a Jesus would look like, and again, that person in this picture right here, he looks, of course, a man of color. Doesn't look like he called, we would consider a person that's super dark or whatever, but this is what, in fact, a more accurate description of what Jesus looked like, and so that's what people don't quite, people understand that now. These things are starting to come out, and now that these things are coming into. Now, here's another thing, right? It was one of our relatives that Renee Porter's brother, who was related to us, a cousin. His name is Bill. Who just passed. He's the one who told me. He told me that some years back. Him and I were having a conversation. He's the one who told me about it, right? So I got this.
So you didn't know?
I did not know, right? Until a couple of years back. I've been knowing for the last, several, about 2, 3 years, because he was having a battle with cancer, and of course, he just lost his battle. But the point is that him and I was having a conversation before he started getting really, really sick, and so he was the one who was telling me about, who the true. Of course, you hear people talk about Jesus as being a Jew all the time. Of course, he is also, they talk about, yes, exactly right. Yes, see, but they don't tell you that Jesus looked like that picture right here. Right? You think you see Jesus,
no,
blonde hair, blue-eyed people, brown hair, people that you see with straight hair on these here portraits. But no, Jesus, in fact, looked more like this, and so when you start talking about, like for example, Mary Magdalene, look more like this, So and that that's basically when we start looking at these these depictions, of how these people look. But here's another thing, I tell people all the time, because this is what Bill Jones told me. He said, look, Tay, I want you to do this. I want you to go and look on YouTube, and I want you to look for the Pope embraces the feet of Israelites. And so I did that. And lo and behold, there was the Pope, not this particular Pope, but the one prior, bending down on his knees, kissing the feet of these black people, which were the original people who were from the Israelites, that in fact, where we come from. But that's, there's all kinds of proof in the Bible that proves this. Like, for example, when you go to Genesis 2:10 through 15, in King James version, where it talks where the Garden of Eden is, it always talks about it being in the land of. It doesn't say Africa because Africa wasn't called Africa back then. Akabolan, I believe, was called was what Africa was originally called. Akabolan, and they changed the name to Africa. But the point is that in that region where the Ethiopia is, that's in fact where Adam was placed in the Garden of Eden. And so, yeah, so we know that the lineage of Adam's line is Jesus, and that's basically you can find that in Luke 3, 1 all the way to 38. Anyway, so with that
Let me.
being said, go ahead.
So
I was just gonna say. I was gonna say one interesting subject that is very seldom talked about, and that would be not Mary Magdalene, but Mother Mary, Jesus' mother. And there's very little Bible stuff about Mary in the Bible. And you know what I'm saying? Just like I think Mary Magdalene takes up about as much time or as much conversation in the Bible as Mother Mary does. But the thing is that in my thinking, I don't know, because I don't know what certain people look like, what their color was, and different things like that. But I would think that he would kind of have some resemblance of his biological mother, Mother Mary. But like I say, wherever she came from, see, that's something that's not discussed that much in the Bible. But now, at the same time, as I go through and I study different things of the Bible and different things that I've studied, there's a lot of things that go on as far as the color and different things like that. I try to stay more focused on the message and what's going on in the message of the transcripts, or should I say the Bible. And with me, because I mean, we could go on and on and on and on and on, and of course it mentions Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Egyptians. It talks of different parts of what they talk of Africa, and just like in my experience, I've looked at certain things of parts of Africa where even though they try to make it look like over here it's all black, there's regions over there where there's white people, just like they were talking. What was he talking about? Donald Trump. He says, hey, that they were moving some of the white Africans out of there because they were feeling like they were supposed to be under some type of threat. So you should know that there's not only just dark Africans there, there's also light-skinned or white Africans there too. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
we know that to be the case. We know that to be the case. And as a matter of fact, he's talking about South Africans, but that's not necessarily meaning. And here's another thing. Of course, you can always say yes, there are in fact white people in Africa. Right now, were they there and left and then come back? Because here's another thing. Right, this is what people don't quite understand. If we go to Genesis and 11. Where there's a phrase, and of course we had the discussion before, but that's okay, I'll go over it again, where there was a spreading of the people all over the world, right? And scientists have proven that there is not any biological difference from a black person and a white person. But this is what they have said, that from the region in which they migrated to, black people migrated from Africa, and in that region where they went to, they didn't have as much sunlight. With that sunlight being the way it was, their skin lightened up so that they can actually absorb the vitamin D from the sun, so they can have what it took with the sun provided for them to survive to wherever length of time that they were surviving. That's what they can scientifically prove. Okay, so no, we're not going to tell you. There's they got some people who say there's no such thing as white people, but that's not what white people say. White people say there are such thing as white, and it's them.
Well, we see that there's people that with white skin, but there's also people who say that those people aren't people at all.
Well, you can hear that, for example, that from black people there is no. I believe it's the Neanderthals. I think that's what it is. Oh no,
Something like that, yeah.
what is it? The Neanderthals or the what is it?
Amen.
Or is it the Homo sapiens? One of those two, right? Let me see. Oh, hold on a second. Neanderthal. Wait, one of those two. That they got some.
Well, well, there's more options than those two, but
Yeah,
something along those
yeah,
lines.
right. That they got some of that DNA in white people. They said black people don't have any of that particular. Is it the Neanderthal? I think I want to say Neanderthal. Anyway, I'm gonna check. I'm gonna fact check that as well. But the point is that
Mhm.
they have, black people have none of that in them at all, where white people do. So, and that's something that has to do. Well, I guess you can read that in Genesis 6:1 through 4, I believe. So let me go to that real quick. Let me find that real quick. I don't got my Bible in front of me. Can you can you think you can get there before me?
Genesis 6.
Yeah, Genesis 6:1 through 4.
Genesis
Genesis,
6. I read that. I got it
yeah,
right here.
yeah.
Okay, Genesis 6. Genesis 6, 1 through 4. And I'll read a little bit further than that. Okay, it says, and
Well,
it came to
you
pass.
don't have to read it a little bit further than that because you're not going to. But go ahead, read it, read it,
Okay,
read it,
okay,
read it till you get to 4, and then stop, and then read it further than that if you want to.
okay, okay. And it came to pass when man began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, too, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. 3. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. 4. There were giants on the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came unto the daughters of man, and they bore children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. Okay.
Okay,
So,
that's what I said.
Okay, that's saying those big Nephilim.
You're
hmm,
right.
right.
That's what created the giants and which weren't like regular human beings.
Okay, let me read just a little bit. Let me read just a little bit further because I think it talks to that. It says, "And this here is Genesis 6:5."
It doesn't talk about that, but go ahead. You go ahead and keep reading.
I want
Okay,
to hear it.
and God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And then 6 it says, "And repented, and it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart." 7. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowl of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. And here it is. Here it is. It doesn't talk of them being giants in this book. Or maybe I missed that part. In your scripture,
Yeah,
does it
you
talk about
said
them being
giants.
giants too? Huh?
You just read that
You
giants. You
said
did not
giants
say giant.
before.
Yeah, right.
Oh, did
Yeah,
I?
see, yes, you did. And so here's the thing: they
And
call them
then you
Nephilim.
said
Yeah,
beast.
yeah,
Yeah, they were
Is
giants on.
somebody TV?
Yeah,
Is somebody TV
Nephilim.
on? Because there's background noise somewhere.
I think it's Ted's television.
Oh, okay, let me get that up here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they were giants and they were beasts, right? So so
I
there's
think that the
more.
way.
So I say that to say there's more than just human beings on this earth. Still,
Well, let me just say this. Okay. Yes, I would agree with you on that part. But as far as uh, as far as the way that it kind of seems like it translates or breaks down, it's to where uh, just like you take just like earlier they were talking about Neanderthals, okay, or something like that. Now, just like when it talks up there, just like I had said giants and didn't even realize it, but You know what I'm saying? Nephilim is what they used to call it in some Bibles, okay? And basically they were real tall individuals, but they looked at them, okay, as being people, but they were just tall, just real tall, because the sons of God had went into the daughters of man. But that was my understanding. They still looked at them as,
if you listen to what you just read, it was described as beasts. These were beasts. The mixture of the sons of God and the daughters of man created beasts, not regular, not just tall people, but beasts,
okay.
like big as trees, beasts that possibly ate other people, big as mountain beasts. Foxes of today, no, they really do. But my question, I started all this to ask a question though, because and it has to do with the color of Jesus being a black person. I'm asking, is that possibly why they did what they did, why they crucified him? Because he was a black man claiming to be the son of God, and then he showed powers that could prove it.
Well,
Okay, so what was that again?
So I'm saying, is it possible that Jesus was crucified because he was a black man who was claiming to be the son of God, and then he had powers that could prove it?
okay. Did
Uh,
you want to say?
yeah, based on what you're saying, yeah, they're saying that because he said he was the son of God, and that meant that that was one of the reasons why they said that they could kill him, because that being blasphemy. That's what they were thinking. Okay, well he said he's the son of God, so we in fact can't kill him because he said
Right,
that.
just technically, even the most unreasonable person would be no reason to kill a person who claimed to be the son of God, unless you like you could just say it, right? But then you have no proof of it, and then everybody's like, "Oh, he's just a crazy old man, or he's just a crazy young man. He's saying he's the son of God, and what? Show no proof." But then they must have had proof of it in Jesus, which made them crucify him.
Can I
Well,
say
then
something?
go ahead.
Okay. Now, partially, this is the understanding that I ripped from some of it. Okay. Jesus had said that he wanted to be in their opinion, what they inscribed above the thorns that they put on his head was that he wanted to be the king of the Jews. Okay. And they had also said that he felt he was the son of God. So basically what they were saying is that he was doing things and saying things, okay, that was blasphemous, and they were looking for any excuse to annihilate him anyway. They were looking for any excuse to crucify him anyway. You see what I'm saying? It didn't really matter. Pardon me?
But why? Was they
Why?
looking for
They didn't, because they didn't like him. They didn't like him. They didn't like him.
Though? But why?
I don't know. There's people that don't like me sometimes. I don't know why they don't like me sometimes. I couldn't say.
There's a whole book about it. There's a whole
Hmm?
book about it. The Bible is about it, and it explains why somewhere in there. And you
Of course,
guys read
of
it.
course it does. Of course it
I
does.
haven't read the
Of course,
Bible.
of
What
course it does.
people are reading.
So the one of the main reasons is Jesus does, this is what the book says. Now a lot of people say that Jesus is God, but that's not what the book tells me. The book says that he says he is the Son of God. So by him saying he's the Son of God, then I go and reference Luke 3:38, which in the Bible, there's only one passage in the Bible when it talks about the Son of God. And this is in the New Testament. And it calls Adam the Son of God. Right? So I, based on scripture only, have the book says that Jesus came back as Adam, according to what I understand what the Bible is saying. Now, he's saying, of course, he's the Son of God, and they're saying that, you're going to, because, like, for example, a father has a son, the son inherits what the father has. That's what happens, right? In ancient days, a father would have a son, and
Okay.
that son would inherit what the father would belong to the father, right?
Okay.
See, and so, for example, you got Jesus while he is in the temple, and they're exchanging money. He gets very upset about them exchanging money in the temple. Okay, and that so when you go to that particular uh, verse, um, that basically says that that's the reason why he was killed. If that makes sense.
Okay, what verse is that, Ted?
I'll tell you in a second. It's going to be. Let me think here. Okay, so it's going to be. Okay, let's see. Um, let me see where that is at. Maybe I should go here to my.
Hey, let me read something. Let me read something right quick, okay? What I'm gonna read here is I'm gonna read Matthew's 27 and 28. Okay. This is
Okay.
this here is leads up to Jesus being crucified, okay? Okay. Matthew's 27, 1. I'll start there. When the morning was come, all the chief priests and the elders of the people took counsel against Jesus to put him to death. 2. And when they had bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate, the governor. 3. Then Judas, which had betrayed him, when he saw that he was condemned, repented himself and brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and the elders. 4. Saying, I have sinned in that I have betrayed the innocent blood. And they said, what is that to us? See thou to that. 5. And he cast down the pieces of silver in the temple and departed and went and hanged himself. 6. And the chief priest took the silver pieces and said, it is not lawful for to put them into the treasury, because it is the price of blood. 7. And they took the counsel and bought with them the potter's field to bury strangers in. 8. Wherefore that field was called the field of blood until this day. 9. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, and they took the 30 pieces of silver and the price of him that was valued, whom they of the children of Israel did value. 10. And gave them the potter's field as the Lord appointed me. 11. And Jesus stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, art thou the king of the Jews? And Jesus said unto him, thou sayest. Okay. And when he was accused of the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing. 13. Then said Pilate unto him, hearest thou not how many things they witnessed against thee? 14. And he answered him, to never a word, insomuch that the governor marveled greatly. 15. And now at that feast the governor was wont to release unto the people a prisoner whom they would. 16. And they had then a notable prisoner called Barnabas, or Barabbas.
Right.
Therefore, huh?
Go ahead, keep.
I
I'm
pronounced his name kind of like you.
I'm gonna wait till you're done so I can go ahead and expound a little bit more because you're talking
Therefore,
about.
when they were gathered together, Pilate said unto them, whom will ye that I release unto you? Barabbas or Jesus, which is called Christ? So basically, I'll just stop right there. What I'm saying is that what they said they were crucifying him for was because he said he was the king of the Jews. Okay. That's basically, okay, that's the point I wanted to get across.
Okay, fine. Okay,
Okay.
so here's what I say. Right, I say that that there was the situation in the because you have money today, right? Men run this country, and the corruptness of this country is all surrounded by money. Okay, yeah, this whole thing, this whole situation we have going on now is because we have people with money that people put value in. So here it says, and I need to go ahead to the scripture now. Get further. I wanted to listen to what you were having to talk about in this account, but this is the kind of reason why I say that I believe that this is why he was killed. The cleansing of the temple, condemn greed and covetousness, corrupting worship. So in other words, they're coveting money, which they're doing today. In other words, restoring the temple's purpose as a place of prayer, defend the poor who were being exploited. That's what they're doing today. They got all this money, but you got people out there on the street. Got enough money so they can go ahead and spend billions and billions of dollars to bomb a country, but can't get these people off the street here in the United States. That's another example. Foreshadowing Jesus' role as the one who brings a new, purified form of worship. Right. So this is what happened when he was upset when he and he says here, it says Jesus wasn't. It says here, the temple had become a den of robbers, and that's what he was calling it. And his cleansing was a public prophetic declaration that God demands justice, purity, and true worship. In other words, you can't worship men. I mean, you can't worship God and men. Mammon. That's what it says. And what's that? And I think that's I think Proverbs. But the point is that's in my opinion the reason why Jesus was killed, because he was saying, "Oh no, money doesn't mean anything. It shouldn't mean anything. It should be the word of God, which is the purification of us all." And that's, in my opinion, the reason why he was killed. I mean, he could say he was, and he actually, and they asked me if he was the son of God. He didn't actually say, "Yeah, I'm the son of God." He just said, "What do you say I am?" You know, and so
Well,
that basically.
Right. No, that makes
no,
sense.
that the king of the Jews.
Both of them make sense.
Okay, okay,
Because it
so
doesn't sound like he said it doesn't sound like he said he was the king of the Jews either. He just said that's what y'all saying.
Exactly. That's what he
correct.
said.
That's what I'm.
Right.
That's what I'm
But,
saying. That's what I said.
no, it makes sense. Well, both of y'all saying it makes sense because either way, it's like somebody freeing the slaves, right? The Jews were the slaves, and nobody wants the rich people don't want the slaves freed because, like Ted said, that's their money. So there's no business, there's no country without the slaves. So if he was going to free the slaves, which is I guess what he came to do, right? To give people on earth like freedom somewhat, right? I guess that's the point. Then
The thing is, his coming to earth was to make sure that people worship God. God, according to Matthew Matthew 21:9, he says, "Call no one father but God." And so that's basically what he what,
but
and of course.
but that again is like it's still symbolic though. It's of like freedom. It's still symbolic of freedom because technically I don't think a slave master would care what you yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could I just say this?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to say that basically, in my opinion, in the studies that I've done, That's what it says in the Bible was why he was crucified. But in my opinion, I think that men were highly envious of Jesus, okay, and the miracles that they seen him perform while he was walking the earth. They became highly, highly, highly envious, and they wanted to put him away so that they wouldn't have that power or that type of individual to deal with, okay? So they were just coming up with reasons, okay? They were just coming up with reasons as they would go along. And it's like, okay, well, he says he's the king of the Jews. And so I guess if you said you were the king of the Jews, that was just like really against the law of the land at that time. And so they just went on and persecuted him. And then just like where they were with Barnabas, okay? Here Barnabas had murdered somebody, okay? Here Jesus say he's the king of the Jews, if that's what you say. And here Barnabas had murdered somebody. And then they put him before the crowd and it says, okay, which one do the crowd want to let go? Do you want to let go Barnabas, the one that murdered somebody, or do you want to let go Jesus, who says he's the king of the Jews? Okay. And they wanted to let Barnabas go, who had murdered somebody. So you have to, in your logical thinking, it's like, okay, they just were super envious of Jesus because Jesus was able to do certain things and he had a walk on this earth that was, shall we say, majesty. It was majestic, okay? He was doing things and they like, hey, we don't like him. We don't like him. So they wanted to get rid of him. But even if they crucified him, they see they couldn't get rid of him. You know what I'm saying? He came back to life. So that just shows how the inequity and the envy of man can stir up such strife, you know what I'm saying, and hatred. You have to be really leery of it. But I mean, the day is coming
but it
to
has
where
to be more than just envy. I know you're calling it envy and just they don't like him and then they kill him. But if we're talking about Jesus and Jesus is supposed to be what the Bible says he is, then the killing of him it means something, not just they're killing somebody because they don't like him. They're killing somebody because it would change whatever he's bringing to the world would affect what they the structure that they have their world set up in, which is probably Jews being slaves and building their cities and all of that. And if somebody like Jesus comes and says, what is that you said, Ted? Oh, I'm the Son of Man, or all you need is God, right? He's
Right.
preaching all you
Yeah,
need is
right. He
God,
preaches it,
right?
right. Correct. Yeah, yeah.
You're only
Like for example, we're in the book of Acts, and those disciples were able to perform some of the exact same miracles that Jesus performed.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The same thing. So in other words, if you are a person that is tuned in with God, you'll be able to do the exact same thing that Jesus did when it came to healing the lame, the sick, and the blind. And so this narrative of, oh no, money is the most important thing, right? He's saying, oh no, this is corrupted. You're a den of thieves. You're robbing from the Father. In other words, you're trying to take your glory, the glory, by saying, oh, I got money. That what, I'm more important than God because I have money, and my money can help you or will allow you to live a certain kind of way. You don't need God. You just need me because I got all this money. And so, in my opinion, that was the main reason why Jesus was killed, right? Because he was saying, oh, no, no, this money. Because, like, for example, today, if you turn around and say, look, you know what, we're going to get rid of money, or even if you said this, let's say, for example, you said this, right? Because we know that the United Nations has agreed that the gravest atrocity to mankind was the transatlantic slave trade. Yet, in this country, United States country, they said we don't agree with that. In other words, no, they said no, we don't agree to reparations or anything for any such atrocity. That's what they say in the United States, right? A country has more money, supposedly, than any other country in the world, I guess next to China, because China is right on the hill. But the point is that they don't want to give black people reparations. Just like they didn't want to help provide the word of God throughout the nations by way of Jesus Christ. They didn't want that,
Okay,
right?
so if you compare it or if you contrast it like from then to today, so then the word of Jesus, so giving us reparations or giving black people reparations would be giving us a somewhat of a freedom, right?
Correct.
We'd be free from the 9 to 5 slavery, the rat
Correct.
race, we'd be free
Correct.
from a lot of stuff. So it would be freeing us. And so
Right.
then
Right. That's one way. But here's the way to do it without their money. You declare yourself a child of God. Right? Yeah, you declare yourself as a child of God through the Bible. The Bible says that you're a child of God, right?
okay.
Because your ancestry goes back to Africa, which everyone's pretty much does, but some don't have as much of the African DNA as others, right? And don't have as much melanin as others, right? See, and then of course you understand that there's a certain vibration that comes with the melanin in your skin, right?
Mm-hmm.
That connects you with the Most High. That is a fact. They know that's true, and they don't deny that, right? Like for example, you got these black people over here that changes the whole cultures of the whole world by the way they dress, the music they play. You know what I mean? You can hear play music. A white person can say, "I like that music," and play, and becomes what a hit. He becomes a multi-millionaire because he's playing the music that he heard black people sing and play. Right. See, and so these are the things that they understand. They know it to be true. They know it to be a fact, right? So they don't deny it, right? So let's say, for example, that you decide, like for example, if and I've said this on this show before, if
Mm-hmm.
Martin Luther King would have marched on Washington when he did, with the Bible in his hand, and say this book is about my people, this is about us, right? But they
Mm-hmm.
obviously felt like he didn't know that he was, because he never said that. Well, you got Farrakhan been saying it since the days of Martin Luther King, but still walking around this earth today. They ain't killed him, and they're afraid to kill him because he knows exactly who he is, right? And he says it all the time. Don't leave Farrakhan alone. You better not touch Farrakhan. Leave Farrakhan alone because he understands. They understand who he is, right? Yeah, see. And so when you take the blinders, lift the blinders off, the veil off your face, understand that you are in fact one of the true, God's people, and live and abide by that. Things change for you, even without reparation, even without the reparation, right? Because the vibration that you present, for example, the thought process. Now here's another thing, right? That's another reason why they flood our communities with so much drugs and alcohol and mind altering things. They know long as we can get their heads and minds fuzzy, the connection with God they can't have. It's a barrier. It won't give them that connection that they
So that's
need to
true.
touch.
So what would the connection with God mean for black people? What does that really mean?
That means that, for example, if you say mountain move, that mountain moves. That's what it means. It means you have the power to move mountains. You have the power to do things that they like. Whoa, she said mountain move, and last month it was over here. Now this month is over there. You see, and this is what the connection that people don't understand that they have because of all the things that, like for example, Jesus said, that money, hey, look at money, you're a den of thieves, right? Because you're putting money to where you're thinking money is the most important thing when it's not. It's the focus on God, right? You get everything you want when you focus on God, not the money, but on God. And once you do that, then you're gonna be just fine. You see, and that is
I agree with you in a sense, in a big sense, because you just explained it that focusing on God means that if I say mountain move, the mountain move. That means basically my word is law, that I can move mountains without touching the thing, that I can do whatever I want to do, and that I can't be held back. If I know I can move a mountain, there's no way I'm gonna go clock in at your 9 to 5. There's no way that I'm gonna just live in this house and pay $3,000 a month in rent. There's no freaking way if I know I can do that, right? So I think that when people say, like what you just said, you said that means that you're putting God first, or following God. Like, I think nobody really knows what that means. Like, if you just say it as like it's like a soundbite, but nobody really knows what that means. And if you gave your description of it like you just did, that would put people in the mindset of, it means I can move mountains. Because if you just say it means you're following God and you put God first, like, that's still people being dependent on God, right? When really you're saying that you have the power that God gave you to do whatever.
Correct. If you have the power, you have the power to do what God says you can do, right? Yeah, like for example, if it's for the goodness of God, that mountain will move, right? There's other things that are in play to this whole there's other parts to this, right? But see, that the Bible doesn't tell you. Let me give you another example. They got the Western Bible, right? That we read today. Every find the King James version. Hey, King James, the King version. Who's King James? Well, King James is somebody over there in England, right?
Slave trader.
Correct, exactly, right, exactly. Okay, I got this book, but I'm gonna give this book. We're gonna write it down a certain kind of way. We're not gonna write everything in it, right? But we're gonna write certain things in it, and we're gonna put it in these slaves, in a way where these slave owners will have the book.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why would they have slave owners that have the book? Why would they need slaves? And I'll tell you the reason why. Because the slaves have the power that they need because they have that power that's in the book, right? They say, Kuta Kinte, go out there and start, plant my cotton. That cotton is gonna grow because Kuta out there planting the flowers, correct? I mean the cotton, right? Kuta's out there, with the crops. Oh, by the way, you know what? We're gonna take Kunta's wife and he gonna breastfeed our kids because that milk that Kunta Kinte's wife got gonna make our kids even stronger. Yeah. See, we're gonna. As a matter of fact, we're gonna kill it. Now, I don't know if you ever watched that movie that Mandinka. It's called Mandinka with who was in that movie? That boxer. Yeah, right. Ken Norton was in it. Yeah. At the last part of the movie, they're gonna cook the Mandinka. They're gonna cook him. Yeah, right. See, they're gonna cook him so they can eat him. You see, people don't think about that. Well, what were they cooking him for? In the time that was happening, I was like, well, they just want to kill him. They was cooking him to eat him, right? Because this is the strong black man. We're gonna eat the slaves, and this is what they were doing. You see, and so this is what black people don't understand. Right? And once you understand the power in what you have, everything changes. Everything changes, right?
So can I say this? That's amazing. But church, I'm gonna just knock church for a minute. Church don't teach you that.
Correct.
That to wait on God, and then after you die, you have that.
Correct.
Now.
Correct. And that's the reason why you need to go ahead and look up Muhammad Ali when he's talking about his mother telling him, about all these things that you're going to get. And he said at the end, said, well, why we got to die together? I like to get some steaks and I like this. You go ahead and look at that where you talk about that. See,
Can I chime in? Okay. See, that's how come me, you know what I'm saying? I'm somebody that I try to align myself in a way to where I have it forever. Because See, 60,
Okay,
70,
I'm gonna
80
ask you a
years.
question. I'm gonna ask you a question. I need
Okay.
you to explain to me what a forever is and how to get it. Because I need to
I don't
understand.
know.
Because you can.
I can tell you that part of the reason that I've got it is because of my involvement in the Bible and my belief. It's truly belief in Jesus and the things that are going in the way of Jesus. Just like how you talk of money. Just like what did I say about money? I think that money is a tool. Money is a tool. The thing that you should strive for is what they call eternal life or living forever. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
But the
Okay.
thing about it is that with man in the picture, man will try to value money and man will try to eliminate ones that don't really put an ultimate power in money. If they have an ultimate belief that they have it forever, man will try to make it a miserable forever. It'll say, oh, well, let's bring misery into this person's life. And then maybe that person will probably not want it forever. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I have any choice in the matter. I think that I have it forever because that's just what I've been anointed to have. And that's what's been given to me. Now,
Okay.
here it is, a person that looks at life for 60 or 70 years or 80 years, when they get to 60 something, they'll start to realize there's not enough time in life for me to really do the things that really will achieve me the opportunity to probably get the things that are really, really, really determined to be for me. Okay, they start battling with health issues and different things. See, just like with me having it forever, even if they told me I had cancer tomorrow, I'd say, well, I'm sure that God is going to deal with that. And even if I was to die for cancer, I think I would come back and keep on living. I've had too many life experiences that were death defying already. And I'm 68 years old. And I had some death defying experiences back when I was a kid. I had death defying experience when I was a teenager. I had death defying experience when I was a young adult. I had death defying experience when I was an older adult. Okay, I've been dealing with a life that's been filled with depression, but I'm still here. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? I don't have feet, but do I still get around? Yes, because God makes it to where I get up and walk on this earth. But you have to understand something. It's all in the power of God's doing, and it's all in the power of what God wants to give somebody. Me, I've just been fortunate to where I have an eternal. I have a forever. So how do I can't tell somebody else how to get it. I can tell you part of the ways that I've gotten it. And just like me, am I a strong believer in money? I believe that money is a tool. Do I think I've been rich before? I think I've been very rich before. I think I've been very, very rich before. But even though I'm not rich, does it make me not live? No, I'm still living even though I'm not rich. If I get rich again, what will it be? Money will be a tool. Okay. Should I strive to be wealthy again? I should strive to be wealthy again so that I could get myself in a position to where I'm around ones that honor somebody with a forever, that they'll treat a person with forever really good and have it to where, okay, this person has forever. I'm going to try to make it to where it's a really comfortable forever. With man will try to make it a miserable forever. So I just wanted to interject that part. But I mean, to capture that part to me is a lot because, you know, if a person doesn't capture that part, just like how you said about Muhammad Ali, he says, hey, well, why does a person have to die to get these things? Why can't they get them while they're living? If you have a life that's forever, if they're to come to you, you're going to get them. But it's just like with money. Like I say, it's a tool. Okay, it'll help me get in a position to where I'll be around ones that'll make sure that I have a more comfortable, happier going into forever or possible forever than having a poor forever. So that's all I wanted to say about that. Nicole, you're back.
Yeah, I missed some of that, but you were saying a poor forever.
That's okay.
What he was saying was that he believes he has a forever,
Yeah.
and I asked him, because I wanted to know, this forever. How do you get this forever? He says that he doesn't know how. He got it, but he doesn't know how he can get it. But he got it, and so
Yeah.
so that's basically what he was saying.
And
And
I was saying
Your
that,
question is, well, I was going to say, my question is your forever in this life, or do you have to die first?
well, in my opinion, okay, I'm going to be as candid with you as I possibly can. Okay. I
Right.
believe that in my lifetime, okay, I'm 68 years old now. Okay. I believe in my lifetime from the time that I was born and on and on and on. I believe that I faced death already. Okay. I believe I faced death and I'm still here. And I believe that even if I were to try to kill myself, if I took a gun and shot myself in the head, I'd probably be laid down for a while, but I would get back up and walk again. Okay. Or God wouldn't take my life completely away. I don't know. I mean, I've been through some hurtful, harmful, really horrendous things in my life. And I'm still here to this day to be able to talk about it. Now, there's some people that may remember some of it. There's some people that say, I don't ever remember Peanut dying. I don't know what you guys are talking about. But you might talk to some people that say, you know, in the back of my mind somewhere, I do remember somebody saying, I thought Peanut was dead. But here I am. I'm still alive, right? And hey, I think it's got to be a blessing. It's got to be a blessing from God, okay? Just like I was looking at your show the other day, Nicole, when you were talking, I think you were talking to Tim. I think you were talking to Tim about him getting shot, okay? And that was pretty interesting, you know what I'm saying? I found that. Okay, dogs. Okay, dogs. We know. We're gonna be okay. Here it is. Here it is. Huh?
No, go ahead.
I couldn't
Go
hear.
ahead, Peanut.
See, and I mean, do I kind of vaguely remember that when you all were talking about it? I vaguely remember it when you all were talking about it. But I was thinking, and for a minute, you know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, Timmy Bolton, then Michael Bolton, then Stinker. Okay, Stinker, then Timmy, Stinker, then Michael, then Timmy. And then when he was talking, and see, just like where he was talking about, I used to live over there. Okay, I used to live over there by where he was talking about. And then I remembered, I said, yeah, that's right. Timmy did get shot years ago. But did I remember it only after you all were talking about it? See what I'm saying? So there's some things that's happened to me that people will say, you know, if we talked about it at length, probably some people say, yeah, I do kind of remember that. You know what I'm saying? But that was like way, way back when. But I mean, that was a good show. I enjoyed that, Nicole. I really did. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to tune in.
Yeah. Or come tell your story.
Yeah, I mean, just like I only heard Tim's story because just like on certain days I have groups, so I have to go to the group that I have to go to, and then. But yeah, that was interesting. I found that to be pretty interesting. Now, excuse me. I know that our subject matter is supposed to be is something that Ted has come up with because me, I don't agree with it. How come men and women don't like each other? Now, me personally, I haven't encountered that. I don't know, you know, just like I think that women in abundance still like men, but if they're not liking men, I would like to know about it. But I mean, as far as me having a woman in my life, do I have a woman in my life? No, but do I think they like me? I think they're crazy about me. I don't know. It may be some type of lunacy that I have or probably some delusion, but I think that women are crazy about me. Okay. But as far as men, I don't know what's going on.
Well, since you brother, I bring up the topic. Let me go here because you're taking over the topic. I mean, come on.
I'm not. No, I was saying.
I'm saying because you mentioned that I came up with the topic. You don't agree with it, which is fine. But you taking over the topic. So let me go ahead and step in a little bit, just for a second here. This is my topic. Okay. See, now here's the thing. I'm agreeing. This is what I thoroughly understand. Right. I believe nobody can truly, like, for example, find, you can say I love. My mother used to always say I love them, doesn't mean I like them. You know what I'm saying? She said, I love everybody in my family, doesn't mean I like them, but I love them all. That's what she used to always say, right? Yeah. See, but see, that doesn't mean that she liked them all. But the people that she liked was the ones that liked themselves, right? And showed appreciation for themselves and then shared it with everybody else. See, now I don't know anybody who likes anybody who don't like themselves, right? So a person said to me, look, you know what? I like you, right? I like you, but guess what? I don't like you because you like you. But that ain't got nothing to do with me. It got something to do with you, right? But what I want to make it clear, doesn't matter what a person, I'm gonna talk from my perspective. Doesn't matter what a person says to me. I like me every single day, all day long. Okay, it don't make a difference. I'm gonna get out your way. Listen, I'm cool because when I leave, get out your way. I'm gonna be like talking about I like you. Wherever I go, I'm gonna like me, right? See, so I don't. When I say how come men and women don't like each other? Not every single woman and every single man don't like the opposite sex. This is what we're talking about here. See, they oftentimes like the opposite sex that like themselves, right? Yeah, like for example, they can. Okay, so here, let me share. Like, let me put it this way: men, oftentimes, like what they see more so than anything else. They say, I like what I see. For example, they ain't gonna like that right there, right? They're gonna look at her and they're gonna say, you can hate me, but why knock my hustle? I'll be the queen no matter how they shuffle, right? They ain't gonna like that. They're gonna say, oh, this woman here, she's too much of an alpha. She giving me a finger and this, that, and the other, right? But if they don't pay attention to her and focus on them, then you see what I'm saying? Everything changes, right? They don't change when they don't think about themselves. If they think about who they don't like and why they don't like them instead of trying to improve themselves, then they ain't gonna always have a problem with it. But they'll never have a problem when they think about liking themselves. And see, this is what this whole thing is about. How do you become likable when you don't like yourself? You know what I mean? So that's what the subject is. And when you take a look at, like for example, a man see a woman, and he'll certainly like what he see. He certainly like what he see. He'll see this, and he'll be like, I see her, I like her, I want to be with her, and that's it, right? But he don't necessarily say that he likes himself as much as he likes this right here. And this is what men don't quite understand, why they like this, but this don't like them. But this likes them when they look like this. Okay. And that's what men don't understand. Men don't understand, and women like that, right? They like that when they see a man. See, so this is what I'm trying to say. This whole topic is not about them not liking each other. Is what people should do to become likable, right? Yeah. How to become likable, right? Yeah. And that's what the whole topic is. So now, if you have, I'm gonna leave it up to you to make a comment now, sir. Go ahead. Tell me about
Me?
this right here. Yes, yeah, you.
Okay. Well, I look at it like this, right? See, just like me, I'm the type of guy that's like this, right? And my holding myself in life and doing things right. Right now, I mean, I love women. Okay. I don't like men. I'm not bisexual or gay. I love women. Okay. Now, me, I think that women cater to men too much. But
let me ask this question before you go any further. Do women like you? That's the question. Do women like you?
I mean,
you like women, but do women like you?
I believe they do.
Okay.
But I haven't really been putting myself out there on the market to get a woman. See, right now I'm focused on things that have to do with my past being, credified. I'm dealing with things that have to do with me making sure that I have a place over my head and that I have an amount of money to where I can substantiate things and get some things done. Okay. Mm-hmm. I love me and I like me. Okay. I love myself and I like myself. So instead of me putting myself in a situation to where I have somebody else to deal with as far as liking me or loving me, I'm in the position to where I want to get all the truth about myself as much as I can. And then I'll see where that takes me. I think that, in my opinion, I think women are overly engaging with men. I think they like men too much, in my opinion. I think they, just like I was talking to a female the other day, and she says, what do you think about women? I says, I think that women have went and flaunted themselves and gave their attractive looks and their good health in their youth to men. Okay. And it's gotten them to where they don't really have that much to achieve for it. And I says, but now if you were to go out there and you ask some women, how many of them gave their attractive looks in their youth and their health to peanut? To me, you would find that they'll say, "Oh, I didn't do that. No, I did. I gave it to man, just like he said. I didn't give it to Peanut." So when they get themselves in a position to say, "Well, I'm going to give all that to Peanut, and I'm going to make sure Peanut get that," then hey, then we got something to work with, right? I'm like,
Well, hold on a second before you go any
I
further.
know I deserve it.
Well, hold on before you go any further, because I want to stay kind of sort of close to your comment about women you believe like men. So I'm assuming that from your perspective, that you can say from your experience that they like you, but that's not what you said, right? I mean, you haven't said yet, but I mean,
what I'm saying is, I know that they like me. Okay, I know women like me. I'm not worried about that part. Okay, I know I like myself and I love myself. That's more important to me. And I'm not going to put myself in a position to where I go into a relationship with a woman and she doesn't know the whole truth about me as far as the past that's been erased.
Okay,
I want to have it to where she.
So let me ask you. So let me ask you a question, because you start mentioning that you want them to know the truth about you, right?
Yeah.
The truth about you. That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
What is it that you would want them to know about
I
you?
want them to know that I played sports. Okay, professional sports. I'd want them to know that I was somebody that managed money, that dealt with real estate back in the 80s. I'd want them to know that I'm somebody that I've been in relationships, but I haven't been in one in probably 20 years. Okay. But is because I couldn't be in one? Not necessarily that, but I've been going through the system.
Let me ask you this question before you go further. What sports team did you play for professionally?
I told you already. I told you the Seattle Seahawks #3, and you said don't talk about that no more. So
yeah, right. I said don't talk about that on last show. This show is 90 minutes, so you can talk about it. We got
it's 321. It's 321. We got about 10 more minutes.
I'll extend it another 30 minutes because I want to hear this.
Okay. You want me to talk about it? Okay, here it is, man. Here it is, right? Here it is, way back in 1982, right? I'm in Oak Park. I'm living in Oak Park Apartments, right? Me and Robert Arundel, right? And I'm doing my thing. And somebody called me up and they wanted to ride to Rockland, California, right? And I said, what you want to ride to? They said, we got gas money, Peanut. You know how Peanut is. You give Peanut some gas money, I'm going to give you a ride somewhere, right? I was like Uber before Uber got started, okay? So here it is. They give me some money. I go to Rockland, right? Now, here it is. They trying out. And I'm just there. I'm not even trying out. I'm there because I'm giving them a ride. And so one of the coaches asked me to run a 40-yard dash. I didn't know what he was talking about because I was a hustler. So I seen somebody coming my way. And you know me, I was kind of like a D-boy at a time in my life, you dig? So I was like, hey, shoot, I don't know if these guys is coming to track me down or what. So I got out the way. And so somebody says, hey, one of the coaches wants you to run a 40-yard dash. Did I know what a 40-yard dash was? No, I didn't know what I was like a 40-yard dash. I'd heard of a 100-yard dash, 100-meter, 200. I says, okay. I went over there, ran a really fast 40-yard dash. And so they said, run it again. I ran it about 3 or 4 times. Now, I only weighed about 149 pounds. I was only about 5'7", 5'9", something like that. So they said they wanted me to come back. It was on a Friday. They wanted me to come back on Monday. So they gave me some money to come back on Monday. I come back on Monday. You know what I'm saying? We started working out because it was a partial sit out. There's a movie out. It's called The Replacements. Now, the movie and The Replacements is about ones that they were picking up that were replacing some of the players that wasn't going to play in 1982, 1983. So I went out to Rockland. I'm playing for the 49ers. I make it to the last cut, right?
Hold on a second. You playing for the 49ers or you playing for the Seattle Seahawks? You said you
no, I started off with the 49ers. I started off with the 49ers.
I'm just trying to keep up now.
I started off with that was my sport nickname. See that name right there? Right there? That? King New Shoes Peanut. King New Shoes Peanut was my sports nickname, right? Number 3 Seattle Seahawks. Okay. And women would stampede the NFL field just to get closer to me, right? Now here it is. I went to Seattle. Okay, I was in Seattle in 2017, right? 2017, they had my picture on a billboard. Number 3. You know, the Seattle Seahawks had just won the Super Bowl not too long before that. And Russell Wilson was the number 3 Seattle Seahawk. So they had my picture, they had Russell Wilson picture, and a couple other pictures, right? Now here it is. When I got to trying to get the information, police gaffled me up, right? You know what I'm saying? Took me to jail. And then after that, I came back. The picture wasn't up there anymore. 721 First Avenue, Seattle, Washington. Picture was right there in the window. Now here it is, right? I'm doing my thing and stuff, right? But now in sports, I became pretty phenomenal, right? I got to be pretty phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, women would run across the NFL field to get closer to me, and I started playing multiple sports because I didn't know. I thought that's just the way they got down. Because when I was in high school, they would play multiple sports to get a block letter. They played baseball and football to get a block letter when I was at Burbank or when I was at Kennedy. That's what they told me. So I'm thinking, well, probably playing football and then playing baseball was no big deal. So I started playing baseball, and I even played basketball. But to get into basketball, I slid a little bit of money to somebody because I really didn't know that much about basketball. But here it is, right? To make a long story short, right now, they got an investigation going on about it. You know what I'm saying? They've got some people that's highly interested in it. And I'm writing a book that's partially about it right now. My book comes out next month on the 20th. So here it is, it's to where just like I say, just like if you go to the first house that I started, when I got the money, I started doing things like reading plans. I started reading plans to build a house. So I built 7690 Lytle Street in South Sacramento on Lytle Street, right? You can look it up.
What position did you play when you played for the
I was a receiving tight end. I was a receiving tight end. You
gotta be a pretty big guy to play tight end.
Not necessarily to be a receiving tight end. To be a running tight end, you probably have to have some pretty big size on you. But to be a receiving tight end, you just have to have speed and got to be able to catch the ball. Because basically, it's like, let's say the quarterback is in trouble. You got to get rid of the ball quick. Boom. See, that's just like what's his name? Travis. He's a tight end, right? But he's a blocking and running and receiving tight end. You know what I'm saying? He does all three of them.
He's a real big guy, though.
He's a big dude. Yeah. He's a big dude. See what I'm saying? But you didn't have to be really all that big. You didn't have to be that big. See what I'm saying? And see, the thing about it is, when I first started catching the ball, they would throw my behind 10 yards back. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But it's forward progress. So even though they had thrown me 5 or 10 yards back, the forward progress that I made, the ball would still be right there. But just like here it is, just like.
Okay, so before you go any further, all right. I'm just going to tell you.
I know you don't remember. I know.
No, I don't remember you playing
but that's okay though.
No professional football. Okay, yeah. So I kind of want to pivot now. Okay, if that's okay with you. I'm just trying to pivot a little bit. I said,
let's go ahead. You asked me a question. I tried to give you my honest answer.
You gave me your honest answer. I get it. I got it. You play football. You play football. I get you. No problem. But I'm just saying.
Let me mention one more thing. Just like James, the house that he was staying in North Natomas, I built that house years ago. Okay. The house I don't know where he stays now, but when he was in North Natomas, I built that house right there.
James Wells.
You said his last name, but I was just saying James. But yeah.
I'm just saying you said James. You said James. When you said James, I'm the old James. I know James Wells.
Yeah.
I know some other ones. But
out in North Natomas. Out in North Natomas. Here it is.
Okay.
I built that house. Okay.
Okay.
I built that house.
Okay.
But
I'm just gonna say this.
Yeah.
Okay. That that's prerequisite. Like for example, if you have a lot of things going for yourself, there's a word called hypergamy, right? And that word means hypergamy. That means for a woman to submit to you. Usually in her mind, she says that he is more than, okay, not less than me, but maybe more than me, right? And so that was called hypergamy. And once you say, I got cars and I got money and I got this, that, and the other, she says, he can take care of me. Matter of fact, he can take care of my offspring, if we have it together, he's secure. We're gonna live a good life. That's basically what they say, right? And that's the reason why you see so many men in downtown Sacramento look like toe up. Usually they got white men toe up with a beautiful woman because they can afford to make sure that they're housed and clothed and taken care of, right? And so, they submit to them because of that. And so this is the thing that
You also see people living in tents with other people living in tents. Women
correct.
and men still hook up, and they don't have to be rich. They don't have to have a lot of money. And women still date men who don't have shit.
Well, I asked you this question, Miss, that you bringing that up. Would you date a man living in it? Would you move in? Like, for example, you look like you live in a house. So would you pack your clothes up and move into a tent with a man that you that you say I like him? You know, you
No,
live in a
I
tent.
wouldn't do
Oh,
that.
okay,
No,
there you go. There you go.
Hey
no,
Ted,
that
Go
doesn't
ahead.
mean that you proved anything. I
Oh,
wouldn't do
I
that.
did prove something. You
I don't
would,
know
you
hey
would,
many
you
Ted,
would,
people who
can I
go
ask
ahead.
you a
would
I'm listening to
question?
you.
a
Yeah, go ahead.
man
Go
Okay,
ahead.
who
you
would
Go
said
ahead.
move
you
in
said
with a woman
hold-
in a tent.
Go ahead.
you
Go ahead.
said an
I'm listening.
hour
I'm
and a
asking you a
half.
question.
You said an hour and a half show, so it's at an hour and a half, and over here is ringing. I don't know.
What's
Did you want
ringing?
to keep going?
Oh yeah, we keep going because she's asking me a question. I want to get back. I want to get back to her after I get
Okay,
finished
Well,
okay,
talking
go
to
I'm
you.
just
ahead.
saying that you didn't prove your point by saying that. Just because I wouldn't move in with a guy who's living in a tent, I don't know many people who would move out of a house and go live with anybody in the tent, no matter how much.
Oh, I don't either. I don't either.
Right,
That's my
but that
point. I
doesn't.
don't. I don't
But
know that many. I
but
especially don't
many
know that many
people.
women who would move out of a house to move in with a guy in a
I
tent.
don't
I
know
don't really.
many people, period, who would do that.
Well, you
That would
said that you mentioned a man that's living in the tent, a woman living in the tent. They were living together.
two people
Yeah,
to
yeah,
say
yeah,
that there are people who still hook up with other people who don't have
Yeah,
nothing. She may not
yeah,
have nothing,
she's right.
right, right. Yeah,
but the
right,
You're
whole
right. But
right.
here's the
point
thing.
is
Here's the
saying
thing. But
she's
here's the
always
thing.
gonna be
Maybe
there.
because she
That's
didn't
it.
have nothing and he didn't have nothing. But if she was living in a house, even she said that I don't think I would know very many people who would move out of the house and move in with a guy in the tent. That's my
That's
point.
almost anybody, but your hypergamy is that you're not single
That's my
enough.
point, right? Yeah,
No,
yeah,
that
Look,
does
that's my
not
point.
prove
Okay,
anything. That
yes,
does
that
not
is the point. Go
prove
ahead.
your
What you
point.
go? Yeah, here's the point. Go ahead. What you saying, sir?
No, that does not prove your point.
Yes, it
That
does.
does
Go ahead, sir.
okay, I just want to say that
no.
hey, I'm proud of Nicole. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
proud
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
Nicole.
I am too. I'm proud of her too.
Okay, I'm very proud of Nicole. You know what I'm saying? I think Nicole is doing terrific. You know what I'm
I
saying? I
think so
think,
too.
you know what I'm saying? She's doing really great. I think she's a great mother. You know what I'm saying? I
Me?
think she's a great, huh?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Nicole. And I think that, yeah, you, come on, Nicole. How many Nicoles you think I'm talking about here? How many Nicoles are on the show?
Okay. You
Okay, okay,
understand.
huh? Yeah, I think you're doing great. And hey, I'm proud of you because you are doing a good job, okay? And
I,
you
I,
are
I,
handling
I
this,
am too. I am too. I am too. By the way.
Well,
you
thank
know,
you,
and
guys.
see, huh? And
Okay,
so
thank you.
what I'm saying is that, you know, and see, this world, it has a lot of challenges, okay? And this world is designed for a person's life to be about 70, 80 years, and then that's about it. See, my vision is way up in the way hundreds, 200s. So I got a lot of things that I have to acquire and a lot of things I have to do. But now here it is, to be able to sustain yourself and get yourself in a position to where you're doing good is a good thing. You know what I'm saying? And to maintain that. That's a marvelous thing, okay? And me, I'm striving to get myself there, but see, my past is where a lot of my big money is in my past. But I'm not going to restrict it to
So, do
that
you
because
need that money though? But just to my point and to the topic, do you need that money or proof of that money in order to get a woman to like you or want to be with you?
well, I don't want to be with a woman unless I have that portfolio to put before her. You see what I'm saying? I don't want her to have to deal with any of the hardship that I've had to deal with. I don't want her to
Okay, let's
say,
say you got the portfolio, but it doesn't bring any cash money. Like I'm asking, what is the meaning of it?
okay, well, the meaning of it is my identity, okay? But now, even more so than that, because if you ask around, Nicole, if you ask some of the ones in your family, if you ask Sneaker, some of them probably remember it, okay? But now, this is the thing that I'm saying. If you don't, some of them do. But this is the thing that I'm saying, though. See, just like with me, see, I'm somebody that could bring up what's called a geothermal high voltage electricity primary. It's worth millions of dollars. So I'm just waiting for the energy department in this country or another country to allow me to do some work. I can't bring it up just in an open lot because it's so powerful that it'll kill people. But I could go.
But the topic is men and women, and you're saying, Ted, you're saying they don't like each other, and that's
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
But what you're saying is that you need all of these proofs of accolades and money in order to even get a woman to like you.
No, I'm saying that I don't want to get involved with one. I'm saying that those things that I'm talking about have priority over me being in a relationship with a woman. See, those things have priority over me being in a relationship.
Let me bring this up then. Then this is why men and women ain't really connecting no more, because our priorities are fucked up.
That might be it.
If that is your focus, if you anyway.
Okay, I mean that might be it, but you see that my life is important to me. My life is important to me, and see, just I'm the type of guy that's like this, right? I think that I'm so much for a woman that she doesn't even want to touch another guy. Okay, so just like with me, just like a woman get involved with me, and she'll be like, okay, you don't want me to touch another guy? No, I don't want you to touch another guy. Do you have a desire to? If you have a desire to, you're not the right woman for me. Okay, I don't want a prostitute or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm so much that, hey, she's going to have her hands full with me. If she needs to touch another man, she don't need to be with me. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you understand what I'm saying? Because that's going to help keep her young and attractive looking. See, I have a recipe that I put together to keep a woman young looking and attractive looking and healthy. Okay, even though they might look at me and say, I don't know if you're that young looking or attractive or healthy, Peanut, but it doesn't matter. My woman just being around me is going to maintain that. You see what I'm saying? Every woman I've been with, she stayed young looking. Dee Dee stayed young looking. Okay, this woman named Karen, she stayed young looking. The ones that I was with for 5 years or whatever, they stayed young looking while they was with me. They never looked old, never. Why? Because I have that knack about myself. They won't grow old with me for whatever reason. I don't know what it is, but it is what it is. And hey, some of them like me for that. Okay, but at the same time, you have to realize that right now what I'm doing, okay, because I've talked to some women and they say, hey, look, I know women will like you. I'm like, I know women will like me too, but I'm not trying to be in something right now until I get certain things. Because see, just like I'm the type of person that I work well with money, okay? I work well with money, okay? Now, I was so up there with money and real estate back in the 80s that I built this skyscraper in Seattle, Washington. What's it called? It's called the Olivia. How much is it worth now? It's worth over $2 million, okay? It's a 809 Olive Street. I built it myself, okay? And hey, just like I tell you about the houses that I built, I did that stuff. See what I'm saying? If people don't want to admit it, is it okay? Huh?
Of everything that we're talking about today, this is the whole purpose. Everything that you're saying goes against everything that you said earlier. Do you realize?
What do you mean by that?
Your whole living for God and
right.
And all of this other stuff. Now you're talking about money and accolades. What is really matters?
Money is a tool. Money is a tool. Money is a tool. See what I'm saying? But a person's
money is bullshit, and everybody who
money is. But hey, see, a person
else is bullshit.
A person's identity. You see what I'm saying? A person's identity. A person's identity. A person's identity. A person's identity is their character. A person's identity is their character and their reputation. So just like, let's say, I don't know, just like what your occupation was. I don't know if you was a nurse or whatever. But if they told you, hey,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if they told you you never did that, how would
just right now, if nobody knows anything else about you, just knowing you, like all they see on this podcast in this hour and a half should be enough, right? But everybody wants to be more.
It's like it slightly is. It slightly is enough. You see what I'm saying? It may be enough for them. It may be enough for them, but it probably isn't enough for me. See, I'm in the equation too. Okay, it's not just the ones out there in the equation. I'm in the equation. I'm in the equation too. So what matters to me, it matters. Okay. It's not just what matters to them. It's also what matters to me. What matters to me matters. And so you have to understand that, just like where I'm at and the things that I'm doing. Okay. I'm just like how I say, I'm proud of you and I think you're doing great. Me, I'm proud of myself. I think I'm doing fairly well as well. You see what I'm saying? Ted, what I'm saying? He's doing his thing too. He got his things going. We all have our things going, but you have to understand that me, see what I'm saying? My past has been erased. My past has been erased. And my past makes me to what I am today. See what I'm saying? Just like if you take away your past, then basically you ain't going to mount up to much right now as much as you could if you had the things of your past or if you have knowledge of your past. See, just like how you talk of, was Jesus a Jew or was Jesus a Gentile or all that? See what I'm saying? Just like Jesus' past means something to some people and what he was doing. Just like my past, it means something to me and what I was doing. And me, myself, just like me, do I want to be able to have it to where I feel good about myself? Yes, I want to have it to where I feel good about myself, okay? Pat myself on the back a little bit. Am I a little headstrong? Am I a little conceited? I'm a little headstrong. I'm a little conceited too. But hey, at the same time, you see what I'm saying? At the same time, I'm honest. See what I'm saying? Honesty is one of the real important factors, you know what I'm saying, for me to go on in life and proceed in life to the things that I'm trying to do and the things that I want to do. Honesty is a big part of it. So, you know what I'm saying? Accepting the truth and the honesty about things. It's like I accept the truth about the bad things in my life. Why shouldn't I accept the truth about the good things in my life? Why should the good things be erased and just the bad things there? And people say, oh, just this bad stuff, you know what I'm saying, is there. Not the good stuff. The good stuff and the bad stuff is what makes me me, not just the bad stuff. Okay. So I'm proud and I feel good that I remember the things now, because there was a time when I didn't remember it. Okay, there was a time, just like if you look at USA #1 Victim on YouTube, you'll see I didn't even remember that I had played sports for many a year. Then I started remembering. Oh yeah, I went to San Diego, gave a speech. But you have to understand that I'm gonna maintain this memory. This memory isn't going to fade away. This memory is going to be here. Okay, and then as things start to unfold and the truth comes out, because see, not only am I in a battle for myself, I'm in a battle for the truth, and I'm in a battle for this not to ever happen to anybody again. See, I'm in a battle for the truth and for this not to happen to anybody again, because, I mean, you could ruin somebody. You could ruin somebody. And I mean, here it is. I'm 68 years old. Most 68-year-old people that's a double amputee, they'd be like, man, that's killing me, man. Them not admitting the truth about my past. It's not killing me, but to let people know that, hey, there's people out there that this may have happened to besides me, okay, that I could speak out and say, hey, look, let's not do this to anybody else again, because it ain't the right, it's not the right approach. It's not the right way to go about doing stuff, okay? And then somebody else will probably be saved. If one person, you know what I'm saying, get something out of this, you know what I'm saying, to make them keep going, then hey, they won something to keep going. I have to say, I feel so good about myself, right? I feel good about myself. I feel good about where my position in life is, what I'm doing. I feel really good. Okay. I'm not trying to take away from what anybody else is doing. Just like I'm not trying to take away from what you're doing or anybody. What you're doing, just like some people say, Peanut, I don't remember you doing. I say, that's fine. Okay, that doesn't offend me at all. That's great. If you don't, I don't care. I mean, hey, this is about me, okay? It's not about them. So if they don't remember or they don't acknowledge it, I don't care. See what I'm saying? Somebody's going to, and then that's when the things will start to happening in the order for which they should happen. See, somebody will say, yes, you damn right, Peanut. He was pretty awesome in sports. He played sports and was good at it. Peanut, King New Shoes Peanut, okay? Captain Lewis O'Neill King Sr., okay? He was good at it, and he was. And then people say, okay, well, God dang it, man. You know, I guess if Peanut ain't gonna shut up about it, then other people start talking about it, and then they'll be to where they ain't gonna shut up about it. Then somebody say, well, okay, I guess he did do that stuff. I guess he did. Gosh darn it. But hey, this ain't about me though. But hey.
Well, on that note, I just wanted to reintroduce the topic.
Here we go.
This topic is at this particular point in the show why men and women have a problem with endearing themselves. Yeah, a little different, endearing themselves to each other. And
I can see
I know you keep saying that. I know you keep saying that.
it.
But
It's news to me.
in most cases, well, I'm not saying it's not anything novel. I mean, it's not or anything that's not non-existent. Uh, there's a lot of things that happens. For example, the most in the United States of America, the most educated woman is the black woman in the United States of America. There are
Mhm.
more black women in the United States with degrees than anybody else
Can I
in the
say
United States of
something?
America. Sure, go ahead.
Sure.
I think there's a lot of propaganda nowadays, meaning I think people are saying and being told and repeating things that's not helpful and that's not even true. I don't know for a fact that black women are the most educated in America, but I know I keep hearing people say that, right? And I know I keep hearing people say a lot of other stuff just about men and women um, basically just colliding. And I think it's just like the hypergamy statement, like women only want men who have this, this, and this, or women only date up, and all of these things that people are saying nowadays that aren't true. And it just kind of puts other people in the frame of mind like, oh, I need all this, I need 100K before I can get a woman, um, or women might think, oh, I ain't gonna get no man because I got 2 kids. And, there's so many things that are being told to people that are just ridiculous. We're talking about men and women who have been getting together for what, hundreds of thousands of years? You know what I mean? And there's never been any rules on it except for initial attraction and whatever else they can build off of that. But it starts with initial attraction. So everything else that people like put labels on and staples on and rules on, I think it's just a bunch of bull crap that people are just saying nowadays because they hear somebody else say it. But everybody, if you're a likable person, if you're, women, let's say, women can find a lot of things, people, not just women, men and women, after initial attraction, there's other things that attract you to a person, whether it be their intellect or their humor or just seeing them, and liking something about their personality. There's all kinds of things that attract you to the person. And nowadays people are basing it off of money, and people are basing it off of stuff that you don't even know about until until you get to know a person more. It's people are putting the wrong things in place of importance, in my opinion.
So, what do
Okay,
you think
so
is important? What do you think
there
is
you go.
important, Nicole?
Well, like I said, it starts with initial attraction, and then liking a person's personality, their character, what their values. If you looking for what they're looking for when you are going for a relationship, are they looking for a monogamous relationship? Are they looking for long term? Are they looking for a family? Are they looking to get married? Are they looking, you got to look at all kind of different things. That's what the whole dating process and the whole, like old school people used to call it, courting process was about. But it starts with, I'll go back to initial attraction. But people are acting like it doesn't start with that it starts with rules of he's got to make 100K, or he's got to be this tall, and he's got to be that, or she's got to be 25 or under, or she's got to be kid free, or she's got to be, uh, whatever rules people put on it. That's fake. That is all fake. That's not real because we all live in real life, right? You're 70, you're 68, I'm 52. We all, I know me for a fact, still got people who want relationships with me. They don't care how old I am. They don't care if I have 2 adult kids. They don't care about other shit that people are saying that they care about. I'm sure you get women who don't care how much money you make, who don't care how old you are, who don't care, about your past. They care about your now and where your frame of mind is right now.
No, I don't agree with you. I don't agree. I don't agree because just like here it is, if I get involved with a woman and I say, I play professional sports, and she'll say, that there is really a damn good thing. Okay. And then people say, hold it. Yeah, hold it. Let me finish. Okay. And then they say, well, don't nobody remember him. You know what I'm saying? If people don't remember him, they say he never did it, and people think he's crazy. Then she's gonna say, well, I don't know if I want to deal with a crazy person because hey, that's not what I'm getting in this for. But wait. You're not letting me finish. You're not letting me finish. So here it is. I want her to feel, because here it is. There's some scripture in the Bible, right? The scripture in the Bible where there was this man and he and his woman had been together for a long time, right? And they get to talking to each other. And then they talk to each other and they're in agreement with certain things that they remember from the past, okay? And then it was said that he was happy and proud that he had somebody with a sound mind. And she was happy and proud that she had somebody with a sound mind, because a sound mind is a gift from God. So you have to understand that, you have to understand that there's things that's valued that are a gift of God, okay? And so to have a gift from God is really an important value, okay? And not just for me, but for
mind is the value that they're referring to, that you're referring to, which
exactly,
which goes to what I was saying. That's part of the personality. That's part of the character, right? Nobody is going after a crazy person. Nobody is saying, "Oh, I want to be with a crazy person."
Okay, well, that's how come I say me knowing my past would have an amount of importance, and even fulfilling that development that was talked of in the Bible as far as those scriptures were concerned. That is something that, hey, you know what I'm saying? Do I think I have a sound mind? Yes. Do I think that there was times I had a memory problem? Yes. But I'm remembering accurately now. And hey, I'm happy to be doing that. I think it's a gas. I think it's fantastic. I think it's tremendous. And does it have a monetary value attached to it? It does, but that's not what's the most important thing. What's the most important thing is my credibility as far as my memory. Okay. Yes, it has. Like I say, James was living in a house that I built way back in the 80s. Okay. I just built it. And I was able to build houses like that in 2 weeks, 2 weeks time. Okay. 2 weeks. Hell yeah. I knew how to replan. I knew how to, and I'm talking about, I could build them by myself. I built a house like that in 2 weeks by myself, okay? I was really, and see, I'm going to get back into reading plans. Just like when I start getting some of this stuff together, I'm going to take some money, because just like when I learned how to read plans then, I had a tutor. I'm going to get a tutor. I'm going to read how to read. And it's a very valuable thing to know how to read blueprints. Very valuable, okay? If you know how to read them and know how to read them right. So anyways, I just wanted to share that type of stuff because basically, it's something that has been being something that I got chastened about in the past. Okay. I got chastened about it and all kinds of stuff. I don't need that. You know what I'm saying? I don't need that chastening for things that are really the truth. Okay. And there's things that's been coming into my life and that's came into my life that had to deal with sorcery and witchcraft and different things. And you see what I'm saying? I'm purifying myself to where I'm writing the ways of, just like the bad things I'm getting out. The good things I'm bringing in and I'm adhering to them, I'm keeping them. But now you have to understand that the truth is a very important thing. The truth, if you don't believe in anything else, believe in the truth. Okay. Just like when they were talking about, you know what I'm saying? When you were seeing stuff done on TV and Donald Trump was saying that wasn't what's happening. What the people say, believe what your eyes seen, believe what you seen. Okay. Don't believe in something else. Believe in what you're seeing. Believe what your eyes see. Don't tell your eyes that they lying when they see what they see when you see that stuff, what's going on, okay? The same thing with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm believing in the truth and I'm letting the truth go forward with me. And hey, How do I feel? I feel good about it, you know. And hey, I feel good that we're having this meeting and we're having this, you know what I'm saying, this communication, because there's a lot of things that go on, okay? There's a lot of things that go on. And see, by the investigation and the things that I've taken from my time in the 80s or the things that I'm talking about, I wasn't just somebody. I was somebody spectacular, okay? I was I was a person. I was a person. I was somebody that was before Deion Sanders. Before Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson did what they did, I did it before they did it. Okay, that kind of stuff, that type of spectacular. But you have to understand that, you know what I'm saying, I'm a vessel that's going in the direction that God want me to go in. And I believe that I'm going in that direction rightly, okay? I'm not going in that direction and swerving off the path. I'm going in that direction rightly. And that, you know what I'm saying, God is keeping a hedge of protection around me, a wall of protection. God is guiding my steps, you know what I'm saying, even if it's on prosthetics. God has a real big influence on the things that I'm doing. I have to give the glory to God, because without God, I don't know where I would be at, okay? Without God, I don't know where I'd be at. And just like I say, there's things in my past where I believe that I've died already, okay? But I'm still here. So it means that, hey, God wasn't ready for me to go and be gone. I'm still here now. Okay, they probably looked through some old photo albums and say, wait a minute, you say this is eulogies for Louis O'Neill King. That's Peanut. Wait a minute. What's this eulogy paper doing in here for Peanut? And Peanut's still alive. But you know what I'm saying? God have a purpose for me though. God have a purpose for me, and here I am. Praise God. You did? Praise God. So hey, and hey, I know I'm fascinating, you know what I'm saying? I know, you know what I'm saying? I know I'm energetic. I know, you know what I'm saying? I'm somebody that I take life as I take it and run with it. Okay. I take it and run with it and enjoy it every moment of it. You know what I'm saying? Because God gave me that enthusiasm. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason for it. So I know that we're running up on 2 hours here, you know, and I don't want this to be all about me. I don't want you to say, Peanut, man, you just ran on and ran your mouth on and on about you. It's like, nah. I mean, me, I don't see how they figure that men and women aren't liking each other. I don't see it, because I'm the type of guy that I get with a woman and I tell her, I say, look, I don't really want you touching a guy, and I don't want a guy touching you. And she'll say, why not? I say, for health purposes. I want to keep you young and attractive and healthy looking. Okay. And I believe that if you get to touching guys, letting guys touch you, you ain't gonna have that same youthfulness about yourself, that same attraction, that same
Well,
good health.
let me ask you a question. When you say you don't want them touching them, you mean touching them like shaking their hand, touching them?
Shaking their hand, none of that. None of that.
Oh,
I
don't touch it.
don't, when they start getting serious, with me, I say, no, you don't, what would you desire to touch some guy for anyway? You got me. Okay, what you want to desire to touch a guy for? You shouldn't even desire that. That should be out of your heart. That should be removed from your heart by God.
Well,
Maybe that's crazy. Maybe that's crazy about me, but that's just how I do it. Okay. And hey,
I mean, you know,
you know what I'm saying?
it's just you know, however you think, you think
Yeah.
that you think that you're. So that means that you ain't gonna touch nobody either, right?
No, I ain't saying all that. I'm not saying all that.
Wait a minute, hold on a second. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying she can't touch anybody.
But
She
you
can't touch anybody. I don't mean I can't touch anybody, but she can't touch anybody. Will I get violent with her? No, but it'll be like a check. Okay, I've seen her touching dude.
Well, I'll say this.
I don't know.
I'll say this. That I can see from the woman's perspective, where a man says, okay, if he likes the way she looks, he's not going to too much care about how much money she's got, or how many kids she has, or even how old she is, if in fact he likes what he sees. But from the perspective of a woman, she may not want to move into a tent with the guy that lives in the tent. Now, it's just me, in conversation. I'm just talking now. Okay. But the point is this: if she likes the guy and she live in a house and he live in a tent, and he's somebody who she feels she can grow with, she'll say, well, you come moving with me. You can move out your tent, move in my house. Now, if she's willing to do that, then of course the guy obviously is, got a good woman who says, I'm not tripping on the money. I'm not tripping on, that, you live in a tent. I want you to be with me because there's certain things that you bring to the table, that make me feel good and feel good about you, that, you come into my home. And if
Right.
she is the type of person that says, she's not going to say 6 months later, get out or sit over here, sit over there, or you can't use that dish or eat that food, then I guess he's in a good environment. you know.
Well,
But if he feels like, okay, you know what, I didn't have to let you talk now. You done talked a lot. Okay. Yeah. See if you and you feel like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna move in with her as well with her, then that's up to you. But in my personal opinion, I of course would, I'm, for like the last 7 years, I've been working on a project. I haven't been thinking about, being with nobody that way, but I am very friendly with people, and I do go to the gym and talk to everybody that I see.
mhm.
Yeah, I talk to everybody I see that I think look good. James Wells will tell you that. Ted go to that gym, he talking to everybody. You know, that's what I
Well,
do. I go to that gym and I talk to everybody I like. You know, and you know, and so I don't have a problem with getting with a woman, but that doesn't mean that that's what I do. I do believe that you should be focusing on what you need to do as a man, and that's basically what I do. I focus on me. I enjoy this little fight that I'm having with these people, that
yeah.
don't look like me, and
Excuse me.
yeah, and so I'm doing a good job right now, and I think I'm winning this battle. So, but
I smoke a little bit of tobacco. Go ahead. I'm gonna listen to you, but I'm gonna smoke a
oh,
cigarette,
listen,
man. I've been.
I'm going. Okay, we'll go ahead. We'll go ahead and smoke a cigarette. Go ahead and smoke a cigarette. That's what you want to do.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been wanting one for a minute.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Go ahead and smoke a cigarette.
Thank you, thank you.
But my point is that once we understand, and love and like ourselves and spread it out to everybody that we come in contact with, everybody gonna start liking everybody else. Okay, everybody,
Hmm.
but definitely start liking each other. And
Hmm.
that's my take. I
Say
said once
Hmm.
it
we embrace ourselves with
again.
love.
Hmm.
Oh,
In other words, you brace yourself with love. And
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
then, of course, you spread that love you have for yourself. Well, you don't spread it out, give everything, but what I'm saying is that oil that you have, you spread it with those that you come across. They're going to appreciate the fact that, that, they're going to feel that love that you have for yourself and the love that you share with other people. And they're going to
Hmm.
appreciate that,
Yeah.
and that's basically what I'll say on that note. Everybody does think different, but I'm a firm believer that um, there's some
Hmm.
challenges that's going on out there in the world, and yeah, and we have we are experiencing a lot of those challenges when it comes to, because the man has been separating our families for years. Ever since we came over here in this country, he been tipping down there to the house, to the house, taking his slave's wife and enjoying her for himself, and then putting her in a position where she can make a living and he can't. A lot of things are going on. So you have to. This is what we are. What, now I think about it, we're all related to this individual. This guy named Arthur Renfro,
Hmm.
Arthur Lee Renfro, and here's
He
the
taught me
advice
how to
he.
cuss.
Okay,
After
well, that's
he
fine.
went for, he taught me how to cuss.
Yeah, well, here's what he shared with me. He sat
Uh,
me down and he told me, you have to be twice as good as the man. That's what he said. So I want you to take good care of yourself. I don't want you smoking. I don't want you drinking. And he was crying when he was saying that. He
and
was
he
bawling,
smoked.
and he
He
smoked,
smoked.
and he
Yeah,
drank too.
yeah,
And he said he want me to be like him. Is what he said. And he was
yeah.
bawling and crying when he said it. So I said,
Hmm.
okay, I'll make you that promise. And so I thank him for the most part, you know, for making sure I lined up the way I am to be able to go
Hmm.
out there and fight these battles. And that's all I'm saying, And of
Yeah.
course, you go out there and fight these battles, there's other stuff. I mean, who likes you, who don't like you, you don't too much worry about, you know. And
Hmm.
I believe that's the case, And I don't know how you're gonna live to be 200 years old smoking cigarettes, sir. That's just my opinion. But I don't
Yeah,
believe
I
that you're
know.
gonna. I don't think you're gonna live forever smoking cigarettes. I don't believe
Hey,
you live forever when you're smoking on cigarettes. I just want to put that out there. Now, I
yeah.
don't know how you expect to have a forever smoking on a cigarette. Now I'm thinking that he was just joking when you said he needed a cigarette.
No,
But
I
you
wasn't
actually
joking.
no,
I
you
wasn't
wasn't
joking.
joking.
No,
You
no,
wasn't. So
I wasn't joking.
you must have been joking when you said you believe you have a forever. Okay,
Yeah.
because I don't know. Yeah, I don't know anybody that don't smoke that got it forever. But
Well,
ones that do smoke, I know they ain't got no forever. You
well.
almost
I
had me
mean,
convinced, sir. You
this is
almost
one
had me
thing.
convinced.
This is one thing. She just like I know I can't please everybody all the time, but every now and then I gotta please myself. So every now and then I have me a cigarette. But now you have to understand that my relationship with the forever is with God. It's not with man. Not any man on this earth have anything to do with that. It's got to do with me and God. So you know what I'm saying? If God say stop smoking, I stop. I stopped smoking for 2 years. I stopped smoking for 2 years, and I was like, okay. But now every now and then I have me a cigarette. But I mean, it's just you have to understand that there's things that go on to where it give you some relaxation. Just like, do I use drugs? No. Do I drink alcohol? No. Do I smoke a cigarette every now and then? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's my little pleasure thing. Do I smoke weed? No. But I mean, here every now and then again, I smoke me a cigarette, right? And I don't pay much for them. You know what I'm saying? A pouch costs me like $3. I roll them up myself.
Okay,
Mm,
okay. I mean, yeah, listen,
well,
listen, man. Listen, you grown man.
but
You do
you
what
have
you
to
want to
understand.
do.
You have to understand that. You know what I'm saying? Right now I'm going through some things to where, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to line myself up with everything, with the air, with the ground, with the trees, okay, with the mechanical things. And one thing that I noticed, right, like cars, just like me, I got an '06 Mitsubishi, right, and I got a '79 Dodge um van that's basically an RV that I'm in now. But one thing that I noticed is that the newer cars, '06 and you don't have to really do much. The electrical system does a lot of the stuff, okay? So when mine start messing up, I'm going to just get rid of it and get me one that you know what I'm saying? Now, this 79, I'm going to keep it. But my car, if it start messing up, I'm just going to hurry up and get rid of it and get me something that's like a 2011 or something like that because it's electrical. It's a computer involved in it. Now all you got to do is put gas in it, oil in it, brake shoes, and just drive it. And hey, it's been working for me. I've had that one since 2023, I think. Since okay, and this is 2026. Haven't done anything. I put a catalytic converter, brake shoes, oil. That's it. Run like a charm. It was really good.
Good.
But God makes things. God makes things available to us. Mm-hmm. And hey, I'll tell you this: a cigarette every now and then really feels good.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
And hey, but some people say, well, Peanut, what brought you back to the memory that you was doing those things and having those things? Every now and then smoking a cigarette or something. You know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
hey, and it's the truth. It's the truth that I did those things. And hey,
Okay.
Nicole, you could ask Thinker or you could ask Michael or Tim and ask them, say, hey, did you ever remember Peanut ever playing any professional sports? Ever, 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 way back in the 80s or anything? Ask them. And if you ask them, they'll probably say, let me just say, I want you to think about this. I don't want you to answer real fast. I want you to think about it. And I bet you one of them will come back to you and say, yeah, Peanut did play some sports and he was pretty good at it. Because, you grew up around all guys, you know what I'm saying? You was the only girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I seen Stinker's birthday. They had a little thing for Stinker's birthday party, huh?
I posted it. No, that was his son, one of his son's birthday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was saying, boy, Stinker put on some weight, boy. Stinker put on some weight. I said, oh my God.
How much weight did you put on?
Huh?
How much
How
weight
much?
did you? I haven't seen. Yeah. Hey, how
Oh, he
much
put
weight
on
did
some
you?
weight.
You didn't see no pictures of him? You
Nah.
seen him when my mom passed. You
Yes,
seen
I
him
seen
then.
him then. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's how he
He was.
looked.
Oh, he looked at you. Okay, well, okay. I thought maybe he was bigger than that. Okay, I seen him then. I thought you was
Hmm.
gonna say he was bigger than the time that I saw him.
Uh-uh.
But
Yeah,
you know,
and see, just like me, I'm gonna be honest with everybody. Okay, I do not take death that well. Okay, and a person that you don't take death that well. Yeah, I don't take death that well. I have a real. I don't, probably because I feel I have it forever or whatever. I don't know, but I don't really take death that well. So, you know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate that one's passed away, rest in peace. But just like me, the last funeral that I went to was Louis B. King's funeral, okay? It was Louis, and that's the last time that I seen the family together. It was Louis B. King funeral. And you're gonna find this very shocking and amazing, right? But the night that he died, he called me in his room and told me that he wasn't his son, that I wasn't his son. I says, I'm not your son. He says, no, you're not my son. He said, I have to be honest with you. You are not my son. And he died about 2 hours after that. And I was like, wow, you know, and then I asked boss, I said, do you know what he told me? He said, yeah, I heard what he told you. I said, is that the truth? He says, as far as I know it. I said, okay. And he died 2 hours after that.
that's the first time I heard that story because
Yeah.
she called me up uh,
Hmm.
and she said that I think your father died, and I went over
Hmm.
there. I didn't see you.
I was in
So
the garage. I was in the garage. I was I
you was
was
in
I
the
was
garage.
staying in the garage. Yeah, I was there. I had a bed in the garage. I was in the garage. I was in
Okay,
the
all right.
garage.
Okay, I'm not going to dispute
Yeah,
that. I'm just saying I didn't see you.
yeah,
When I went
and
over there
yeah.
because I
Hmm.
took it because I called 911, and so
Hmm.
I'm kind of surprised if she was over there at the time. She didn't tell you, "Hey, come on in. Your father on 311." Because she called me up. I went in there and she said,
You
"The
were a nurse. You were a nurse, right? You was a nurse. I was.
I was in hospital. I was a hospital
Yeah,
assistant. Yeah, yeah. But
yeah,
still, I'm just saying I didn't see you. I'm not saying that you
yeah,
wasn't there, sir.
yeah. I
I'm
was
just saying
there.
I didn't see you.
Okay.
You know,
Hmm.
and so that's my recall. That I don't remember seeing you. But that doesn't
Hmm.
matter. The most important thing is that that you got a memory that your memory is your memory. Okay, so
Hmm.
that's it, and that's all I got to say. But yeah, but basically, I just wanted to make sure that we touched on some topics. We did touch on a lot of topics today. I mean, we covered a lot of different stuff. As a matter of fact, so much so that people that I just let people talk.
Huh?
I said I just let people talk, and now everybody's quiet.
Yeah.
And don't have nothing to say.
Hmm.
I can base my opinion, and the opinion that I have is that I believe that no, I don't believe that anybody who don't like themselves can like
Right.
somebody else. And so I don't believe there's a lot of people out there that's liking themselves, okay? Because if they did, then they would be liking each other. Now, I will say this, that
Huh?
there's certain ethnicities uh, that are able to function in a way where they have some income coming in, some revenue, right? Like, for example, you can go out driving around and you'll see people out there in these red little tents selling food. I
Hmm.
mean, every single day on the corners, wherever
Hmm.
you go. And you think, I didn't know they could do that, right? But they allow them to do that. But the minute somebody gets them a barbecue stand, put it out there, that's why I'm selling my barbecue, they might have a problem. And
Yeah.
so, with all these pressures that people are having, thinking, okay, I'm having these pressures because I look the way I look, they begin to say I don't like because of the way I look. You see, I've never
Hmm.
had that issue. I always have the thought process that I've been blessed to look like this. And
Okay.
so therefore, with this understanding, I understand that I make these little adjustments, right? Because I don't know if you remember King New Shoe Peanut, but I did at one point have a really good thriving business. I don't know if you remember that, you know, but
You had a couple of businesses, as far as I know. You had auto repair businesses and stuff like that. I remember
yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, okay, we're going to talk about the auto repair business because I had a real thriving auto repair business. A couple of them,
What
but
is that? What you're talking about? Or are you
yeah,
talking about
right.
another
You're right.
business?
I'm
Okay.
talking about that
All right.
business. I'm talking about that business. And so I understand what it takes to be able to make it in America looking like me. I understand what it takes. And
Mm-hmm.
part of what it takes is doing what we're doing right now. Believe it or not, it's part of this. This is part of the prescription to
Mm-hmm.
doing what we're doing now, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
having this here platform, and people are getting to know each and every one of us that are on this platform, and others that will come on this platform, and other platforms that may come on and visit. Like for example, who knows? Maybe Nicole invite me to her platform. And if you want to talk about your platform now, it's a good time to do it, Nicole. If you want to talk about your platform right now?
Well, yeah, and I would love to have you on the platform because I know you got a lot of stories, and I'm all about just hearing stories and people's what they got to say. But yeah, them parts on YouTube where we just talk about life.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That's right, right. So see, so we got, and these are the things that I'm talking about. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Well, hey, if anybody out there remembers King New Shoes Peanut in sports, Captain Lewis O'Neal King, number 3 Seattle Seahawk, send a message to either Nicole's platform or Ted's platform. You know what I'm saying? And let them know so that it'll enlighten their memory a little bit. It might help out. No,
Well,
no.
you have a YouTube page that they can visit, right? You have a
YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah,
Well,
no,
mine
Facebook,
is
Facebook,
USA number
Facebook,
one
Facebook, Facebook.
USA number one victim, but U.S.A. number sign number one victim, all one word, but it's a
Okay,
dot behind USA.
okay,
USA
so
number one victim with dot behind USA, and you can
okay,
probably leave something there. I'm so computer illiterate
Facebook,
that if
Facebook,
they let
Facebook.
well,
Are you
Haji
on Facebook?
Migrave,
Oh, there you go. There you go.
HASSIEMEGRAVE, Haji
There you
Migrave.
go.
You know what
There
I'm
you go.
saying?
They,
Hey,
they can visit.
you know what I'm saying?
They
And
can
hey,
visit you then.
look here, the world is opening up, and it's just, and it's letting things be expressed and things coming out. And so, hey, right now it's a good time to really, 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 you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things going on. So right now, just like they got these here FIFA Cups coming, and they've got the Olympics coming, and they've got the Super Bowl, all of that's coming to California, right? So
Okay.
it's a good time to really make some plans as far as if you want to make certain financial adjustments in your future and the things that you want to do. You know what I'm saying? It's a good time to do it. Or if you
Yeah,
just
right.
want to say, well, maybe I should just kick back. Maybe I should kick back and just stay out of the way. I don't even want to go to any of those things. It's a good time to make some adjustments and make some plans because that's what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying I'm just planning for the future and trying to make it as best I can. But like I said,
There you
hey,
go.
I was before Bo Jackson. I was before Deion Sanders, King New Shoes Peanut. I'm still around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm quite sure that anybody who's interested in you will look up, and fact check what you're talking about, and
Look,
that I'm almost positive of that they will
okay.
actually look
Look,
up
like I
and
say,
probably
I've been
fact
I've
check.
been erased, so they won't have an easy time following me. But I have a book coming out, and the book is called "You Already Know Me." Like how they say, "Oh, you already know." You already know me, and a lot of stuff will be in the book that'll be real eye openers. The people that I knew back then, and the conversations I shared with people back then that are famous. Okay, it's
Okay.
by what the book publisher is telling me. I'm going through what's called bestseller book bureau, and they says, hey man, this here thing is really, 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 really getting some attention of some really important people, and hey, they're really interested in this. I'm like, well, it's just the truth being expressed. That's all it
Right.
is. Nothing more,
Right.
nothing less.
Right. Right. Well, that's good. I mean, you always should share, for example, uh, some business, um, you know, processes or formulas with people who can help them, to help them with financial, helping them with their finances. In other words, show them or tell them how to make money. That's a very important thing. To
I'm
actually help
trying to learn how
them.
to do that myself.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever you did when you were doing it before, all you have
Mm-hmm.
to do is do the same thing. You don't have to. I mean, if you were making money doing whatever, just keep doing this. You can just go back and revisit what you were doing before and duplicate the same thing, and I'm quite sure you'll make money. You know, you
I
do
believe
things.
I'm gonna make it too. Thank you for the compliment, Ted. Thank you for the compliment. I like that. That's right on. And hey,
Yeah.
I have a good feeling that I think I'm going to be able to make it too. I mean, I feel blessed in that aspect. I really do.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's, you know, I mean, it's very simple. It's not very difficult. You know, when it comes to making money. You know, I mean, for example, you know, here's a good way you can make some money. Let's say, for example, um, you wanted to fundraise for a cause, and you can fundraise for that particular
Hmm.
cause. You know, for whatever, and that'll help with the cause and help you with some of your expenses and helping with the cause. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that you figure, you know, like for example, for you putting everything. What was that GoFundMe? You know, maybe take
Yeah.
out a percentage. Yeah, something like a GoFundMe. You know, and
Hmm.
you make sure they get the money, and you know you get a little bit of percentage of helping them with the cause. There's a lot of ways you can make money. As a matter of fact, you don't have to do it that way. All you gotta do is you can do things like um, go to. I bought a part off of eBay, right? That sold on eBay for $30 something. That sell in the in the olive stores for 60 something dollars. You know, so you can put yourself in the middleman position, and that's another way you can make some money. You know, there's all kinds of different ways, but you know, you just keep being diligent. You know, like Nicole got a good little what was it? Taxes, Nicole? You do taxes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nicole do taxes, and you know you can help Nicole with her income tax business, you know, and maybe she'll help you make a little bit of money from There's a whole kind of different ways, there's a lot of different ways to do it, you know, and
Oh yeah.
these
Oh
days
yeah.
the AI is making things a lot easier to be able to make money. So all you gotta do is use the AI, and AI gonna help you do things a lot faster to make you some money. So there's all kind of ways you can make some money, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
you can tell me
But
you can
yeah,
share
this
you can
this,
share
this
that.
the thing is that there's so many things going on now, and so many people are thinking that so many things are scams and different things like that. So just like me, where I'll probably make some money, I'll probably make a little bit of money off my book, but my book is basically to get things out there about the people that I knew back in the 1980s when I was doing real good in sports and different things like that. The people that I knew personally that's still around. Some of them have passed away. Just like there's a chapter in the book where I talk about O.J. Simpson, but he's passed away. But you know what I'm saying? Whoopi Goldberg, you know what I'm saying? Magic Johnson, you know what I'm saying? A lot of different ones that I knew back then. And it's, I even talked about some of the real estates. I think I mentioned the Lytle Street, okay? Uh, 70, 7690 Lytle Street in Sacramento. I mentioned that in the book. And I mentioned some of the places that we live, like Detroit Boulevard and, you know what I'm saying, Del Norte and stuff like that. It's mentioned in the book as well. But that's just places that I grew up. It's kind of like a memoir. But I mean, by all indications, they're saying, man, and the book writers are saying, "Wow, this is really going to be something. This is really some book." And they're saying, "Well, you're saying this is what you remember. Yeah, this is what I remember." And they're saying, "Wow, this is some pretty interesting stuff." So I just
Well,
have to go forward with that. But if you look up one day and I'm a very rich person, I'm still the same guy. I'm still me. If you look up and I'm poorer than I am now, I'm still me. But if the truth comes out and I'm poorer, well, okay. But if the truth comes out and I'm richer, okay. But the main thing is the truth coming out and this not happening to somebody else again. Because this here is pretty horrendous, okay? Being 68 and having to go through all this stuff is pretty horrendous. Some people
right.
say it's a California Penal Code 181. That's enslaving. They say that I'm being enslaved. I said, wow. I probably am. I probably am being enslaved in 2026. Who would imagine? But anyways, such is life. You know what I'm saying? Such is life. You know what I'm saying? Such is
Yeah,
life. But I
yeah,
still
yeah.
feel good. I still feel good about me. That's one thing that doesn't
Right.
stop.
Yeah, that's good. That's a beautiful thing. That's what's most important, that you feel good about yourself, and therefore, you have an opportunity to have a joyful life, especially when you have love for yourself from within. So that's to me, in my opinion,
Yeah.
that's the
Mhm.
most important. That's the only to me. That's the conduit to peace. If you try to be peace and find peace, if you find peace within yourself, and you can't, I mean, yeah, there's so many things that you can actually find peace in. Like for example, you lightning bugs. You remember I used to love lightning bugs.
I did too.
Yeah. We went to Pennsylvania, and you see them little lightning bugs, and I seen Nicole mention lightning bugs. That she's seen some lightning bugs, I guess, wherever she lives now. But yeah, the lightning bug is one of the joys of my life. Seeing them little lightning bugs light up. I'm like, oh, they're little lightning bugs.
Mhm.
And so there's all kind of things that we don't think about uh, that will bring us a lot of joy and happiness, which brings about the peace within our life. And that's the key right there. I think that, if a person can find that, that's the one thing about me that I wish everybody can, I can just share that, that peace and joy and the love and light that I have for,
Mhm.
for life.
Mhm.
That right there is to be honest with you. Because like for example, let's say for example, King Nushu Peanut, you see a
Mhm.
beautiful woman. Like one of them three women to your right in the picture over there.
Mhm.
And you said you want to take her out or go wherever. And she said she didn't respond. She didn't respond like, yeah, I'll take you out. And you felt better, from the no, I'm not gonna go out with you than you did when the approach. In other words, you felt good from the rejection and the approach. The fact of the matter
Mhm.
is you feel so good about yourself, you approach, and still, even if she said yes or no, you still felt good no matter what. And also, I always say you still she's still a friend. You don't look at her like she's an enemy because she says, you're somebody she wasn't interested in. She might have been interested in you, but said no just because for protection. She had no understanding of anything else but than to protect herself. So she said no, she didn't want to go out, even though she might have looked at you and said, hey, I like this guy. But her upbringing and her instinct said to protect herself, she'll say no. And that's basically what people need to understand. That a
Yeah. Well,
rejection is not a reflection.
see, I believe that, what I'm saying, the right woman coming into my life, or even whoever, a female and her getting together with whoever, I think it's sent by God. I think that the ultimate connection is that God sends to somebody. That's the ultimate connection. Okay.
I'm just saying you can keep it talking for 4 minutes. In 4 minutes, we out. It's 3 minutes now. Go ahead. 3 minutes, we're gonna close the show. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that. I think that it's a blessing from God. I think it's ordained by God. The right
Okay,
one, the one
there
that
you go.
really makes it happen. Okay. I think it's ordained by God. God is the one that's the giver of that. That's what I
Okay,
believe personally.
all right. Said fantastic. Nicole, do you have anything to add to that?
Um, I mean, I don't have anything to add. That could be a fact. I definitely, I can't disagree with it. I'll just say that.
Okay. Well, I mean, for a woman who, because sitting here talking, I mean, pretty much you were the only one that said, oh, people approach you, they don't care about what you got, if you ain't got money, if you got kids, you
I
got
don't
whatever. They
think
just
it's
like,
just me. I think it's
no, on the panel, not just you, but I'm talking about here, just out of the three of us, I'm quite sure there's other people besides you that this is happening to, and I can see that because most men don't look at the pocketbook of a woman unless they, looking at her like a, some kind of other kind of type of
but
guy.
I'm also saying that a lot of women, I think it's a misconception that women are looking at the pocketbook of men. There
Okay,
is there is some women, of course, some men. You could say some, but I just think it's a lot of just people making up things. I
okay.
think people are making up things.
Okay,
That's
there you go. That's fine. There you go. That's it. That's good. That's good. And so yeah, so we had a well, man, we had a good little show today. I'm telling you, we talked about. I mean, I heard so many different things. I got so much material that I can use from this
Yeah.
conversation. It's going, I just want to know how AI gonna edit this into the shorts.
Who knows?
Right. Well, we're gonna find out. That's for sure. So yeah, so we got next week. Got a lot of guests that want to come on the show. So I'll reach out, give you all the invitation. We got other people that want to come on now. Thanks to you all. Thanks to you two. Thanks to you two. A lot of people want
Okay.
to come on the show.
Right on.
All
Peace
right.
and love.
Peace and love.
You gonna pray us out?
Yeah, and Heavenly Father, I want to thank you again for another opportunity to come and discuss and embrace the way you want us to live. Amen. Go ahead, Nicole. You want to say something else?
No. You go.
Okay. All right. All right. So with that being said, you all, we'll see you on the next one. Have a good day, and don't forget to love yourself. Hug and love yourself.
No doubt.
And then
Thank you,
share
guys.
that love with everybody that you come in contact.